and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined as always by Matt and Shad. Gentlemen, how are you doing this week?
Doing all right. I'm getting over the storms rolling through and causing my wrestling injuries to hurt, but
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
yeah, yesterday was a bad neck day.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
It went very hot here and it got very cold. Or very wet.
It rained like crazy here, man. It was kind of wild.
So are you gentlemen ready for Fat Bear Week? Because I believe it starts today.
Fat Bear Week. And that is literally about bears getting ready to hibernate in Alaska.
Yeah, I was looking at the contestants for this year and I think I have my money on 501. I was looking at side by
Chungus.
Yeah. They had some side by sides when you could vote. And like, ooh, that one got fat a couple years ago. Maybe I should vote for that one.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I literally am looking up right now because I've never heard of this.
It
apparently is a thing.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I think it had a horrifying start because everyone watched as like one bear just killed the shit out of another bear at the start.
Oh my.
So yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, so it's pretty much last week. It's like the last salmon run before hibernation, and people get into it and vote on which bear is going to get the fattest.
Hmm.
And they have like pictures of the various contestants and their age and stuff.
Well, now you have me thinking. I'm kind of remembering now the Grizzly Man documentary by Werner Herzog. That's basically
that
like
moron.
Herzog is a very interesting person, but I almost feel like he had to have known, and maybe it was his intent to make it essentially like a black comedy, because it's kind of what it was.
I think it went over people's head, but the more I've seen Herzog do stuff and like his interviews and stuff, I tend to agree with you.
That he's kind of self-aware about many things, and
that he was making it a comedy in a lot of ways.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
Because he does. That's his. That is his sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's an interview he does where he talks about pro wrestling.
Oh yeah. Yes. It's actually really fascinating and kind of funny too. He's like, I love watching WrestleMania. You know, they fight for the titles, but in fact, the titles are quite inconsequential. It's like he talks in this really dry, like, you know, obviously the German accent. It's really funny. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? But he's kind of right. Like, he has unique, but somewhat deep insights into it. Like,
there's a funny David Letterman interview you can look up from way back when, and he's talking about wrestling, talking about how, because he grew up in Indy. So, like, you know, his local guy would have been Dick the Bruiser. And, you know, he had Dick the Bruiser on his show a couple times and stuff. And he would talk about Bobby Heenan, because that's Indy's where Bobby Heenan came up, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Herzog's thing because he talks about it being the drama based off of the most base motivation. And that's why it's engaging and gripping.
He has He has my favorite quote. Like, look up his quote about chickens, and like the deep stupidity of the chicken. I think you can look up like Werner Herzog hates chickens or something, and it's just hilarious.
Let me see. Look into the eyes of a chicken, and you will see real stupidity. It is kind of a bottomless stupidity, a fiendish stupidity. They are the most horrifying, cannibalistic, and nightmarish creatures in the world. It's just a chicken, dude. Like,
yeah, I know.
Him at the end of Grizzly Man, when he's listening to the tape of Timothy Treadwell getting eaten by a bear.
Yeah.
And it's a horrific thing, but it's also comedic because of him, because he's like in his most like dour, you know, German accent talking to the woman. He's like, "You must never listen to this. You must take my suggestion is to take this and then burn the tape. It's like, what? It's
Yeah.
again, it's like an absurdist black comedy, because much like if you watch certain things like I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, Chad, like there's a lot of there's things that it's like, this is funny because it is so weird and bizarre, but I feel like that's a little bit of where the spheres that Werner Herzog sometimes operates in.
Oh, Shad died on us.
I thought that was me this week.
No,
One of his skits.
Shad's the guilty party this week. Hold on, let me message him. It's weird for him to break up on us. Okay. I'm so used to like Matt being the one that's the problem. Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had some wrestling this weekend. So I have to say, before we get into it, because people were making a big deal about the AEW versus WrestlePalooza thing, and even Brian Alvarez kind of said it, but like I don't know why Dave was like so like caught up on it, because the thing we learned, and the thing I learned, and why it annoys me when people get into this, I think, how many weeks do you think we got into the AEW NXT Wednesday Night War before we as a podcast realized they have very little overlap in fan bases?
They have very little overlap, and that was back in a time when I would actually say there was potentially at least some overlap, or at least potential for overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the NXT that exists now, no chance.
Yep.
Like, not at all. Like, it is, and it's a running joke. Meltzer said it on his show like a month back or something like that, and he said it in the most polite Dave way possible, that it's like, the demographics show that NXT does well with men who are watching it by themselves, and it's like, yeah, that people laughed at that because that's his polite way of saying like it's the Gooner show, which is basically what it is. It's just the focus is on women and them doing spots, which accentuates
which old perverts watch is pretty much
so that's mostly that. The men on NXT are by and large fairly garbage, outside of a few people, or if they're not, they're like decent workers. They also are made to look like geeks and not mean anything. Like they just chumped out Ricky Saints, whatever his name is called, like to the point where it's like I would just be embarrassed, but I mean, it is what it is. Point is, like, now there is not really that much of an overlap. Back then there kind of potentially was, at least, and AEW was kicking the ever-loving crap out of NXT to the point where NXT had to move. You had to move nights. So yeah, like I think there's a real argument to be made that the audiences between AEW and WWE are not the same. I think that really could bear out because WWE, I can be very critical of WWE, and I am frequently, but they're not really wrestling. It's not even like, oh, they're sports entertainment. It's like they're leading more and more into just the entertainment, such as it is entertaining. Yeah, it has never been a point even when Vince, like the years of Vince McMahon, there's never been a point, probably now, where the in-ring has mattered less, and that's a bad thing.
Monday night.
I personally think it's a bad thing, but
I was gonna say Monday Night Wars, but no, like even then, like the matches still mattered. Like as much as Russo sucks, but like you think a lot of the matches didn't matter, but the main events mattered. Like the Austin matches always mattered.
Back in the days of like Crash TV with Russo, like you would get a ton of stuff where it's like, this is like a 2-minute match, and it's like, that's garbage. But you're right that at least like the big main events, like people have rose-colored glasses because a lot of
it's terrible.
Funny or interesting stuff. Well, a lot of funny, interesting stuff happened during like the Monday Night War era. But that mostly by and large, like that was just garbage. It was actually, at least on WWE's part, it was a lot of terrible stuff, like very bad. but you would find good stuff. Excuse me, at least in like the main event. At least in the main event would be entertaining, or there'd be something like worthwhile. You get like a 20-minute Raw main event between like, Rock and Austin, and it would just like, rock. But
and the title match
That was because McMahon didn't hand that stuff over to Russo to do.
And the
He was
world
like,
title
no,
mattered.
I'm handling this. Yeah, I'm handling this. And then Russo would be, I'm going to do this with the owner. Ah, fine. I don't care. Whatever you do with him. Until, I don't know, something like Mark Henry and Cloudy happens. And then it's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Vince Russo got at least verbally slapped around for that one. But it was... There are people who do, like you said, they try and go back and it's a phrase I'm looking. They try and cover over by saying the whenever I left there, everybody on the card had a gimmick going or a story going on. I'm like, not a good defense, because a lot of those stories suck.
Well, I don't think they remember like how dire some of like the undercard stuff was, though. Just from a worker perspective, like I don't think they remember like meat and how dumb, or beaver cleavage. Like it's a punchline, but it's like
it was. Well, and what did they do? Is they took beaver cleavage and then turned it into a false accusation domestic violence storyline. What the hell?
Though I did like. I do think it's still funny. I think, but when Val Venus did the porno with Ken Shamrock's sister saving Ryan's private was I still think that was funny because that is what like a porn would be called in that era. So I think that was funny still.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't think people remember like how bad like Heat was. Like you could watch Heat and it was just dire.
Yeah, but I guess in some respects, like some of those like really, a Heat I wouldn't even call it a B show. It's like a C show, D show. Like at least that it's like it wasn't good, but that wasn't necessarily dragging your product down. You get like Stevie Richards versus like I don't know, Meat or Bull Buchanan or something. I don't know. Yeah, but point is like Dave, since you mentioned him, Dave and Brian had an argument.
They had multiple
on their show. Well, they have, but I mean, they have at least one that was kind of memorable, at least like before the 2-3 weeks before the show.
No, they had this argument like 3 separate times. They had this argument like 3 separate times.
Before Tony moved the show, All Out. Like Brian was like, they shouldn't do it. He shouldn't do it because people, effectively, he's making the argument that the audiences are not the same. The people who are going to buy, flat out spend $50 or less, because now there's options to pay less, like a little bit less, like HBO Max, if you have an HBO Max subscription, which I do. I think it's like 40 versus 50. Yeah. And this was like, I think their debut being on HBO Max. And I had heard, I think Tony Khan maybe even said like it was successful, or there are people who said like it was.
And let me add this too. They're on Amazon Prime now. And when it's pay-per-view day, they are front and center on Prime. First thing you see.
That's awesome.
The first pay-per-view I'd bought in a long time was All in Texas, and I bought it on Prime, and it did not have a hiccup. It was beautiful video quality the whole way through. There was no buffering or anything like that. Like they had that wired tight.
So question, Chad, since I've not, but if I wanted to, is that like if you were to like after the show, you're like, let me go fire up All In. Is it just there in your Amazon Prime Video?
Yeah,
like effectively
it's in my library.
You bought it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in my library.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out the numbers for HBO Max or how it did. But I have heard at least some favorable stuff. People who did buy it was like maybe they had the same experience where it was easy to purchase. They didn't have like streaming quality issues, things of that nature. So, point is like Meltzer. Well, Brian was making the argument. It's like the audiences are different. People who can actually plunk down the money for an AEW pay-per-view, they're not going to care that WWE if WWE runs the same time, they're not going to watch WWE. And generally speaking, this was WWE counter program with Wrestlepalooza. This was the first one that's supposed to be on ESPN. Forget for a second that it was on ESPN. But if it wasn't, if it's just like, oh, they're just running a pay-per-view, I refuse to call them premium live events. If they're just running a pay-per-view, back in the old system, it's like, well, I'm paying like, $10 or less for Peacock.
Especially since they're pay-per-views again. They unofficially made them pay-per-views again.
Well, yeah, but if I was watching where it's like, WWE's running the same thing, if I'm buying an AEW show, I'm spending the money on it, I'm gonna watch it day of. The only time I'm gonna watch it after the fact is if I'm buying it after the fact. If I'm paying the money to watch it live, I'm gonna watch it live. I'm not gonna be like, oh, but this WWE show. It's like WWE is on other services. I could literally watch that tomorrow then. I don't need to watch it at the same time. So Brian, I think, was absolutely right. And Meltzer, of course, because Meltzer, unfortunately, I've met Dave, again, I've met him several times. He's a very nice guy. Very polite. He is stuck in this mentality that's like WWE is the big company. They will always win on everything because they're so big and they're so successful. And he just would not listen to the argument that Brian is making, that it's like, yes, but maybe they're different audiences. Maybe they don't want that. It's like if you're an AEW fan, it's like you want, I'm hungry. I want a steak. I'm gonna go out to the nice steakhouse, eat a steak. And then some McDonald's, dude from McDonald's bangs on your door. Hey, I got a Big Mac though. Wow, that's great, but I don't want that. I want a steak. I'm gonna go to the steakhouse. No, but look, right here, man, Big Mac. Okay, but I don't want that. And it didn't get through to him. And then Tony moved it, and then Meltzer felt validated. It's like, oh yeah, look, and then he's even posting before All Out on Twitter. He's like, oh, what's your over-under for All Out going to be? 105,000 buys, and it's like, that's pretty low. Yeah. You're basically saying it's going to be effectively a failure because people are not going to buy it because WrestlePalooza. And basically the postscript is that Tony Khan and Brad has brought up a good point before several times, that Tony he owns an analytical company. He owns a data analytics company. Yeah. So when he can throw out statistics, I think people would just think he's pulling them out his ass or he's just trying to do PR for his own company. And it's like, no, he owns a data analytics company. He could literally run reports on things. And what he said in the post pay-per-view scrum was that actually the numbers for the buy rates look pretty good, and they look good enough that maybe this is going to be a permanent thing, that I'm maybe permanently going to move the pay-per-views to the afternoon because it may be affecting the buy rate positively.
Well,
you don't do that.
I think
it's working for European fans too.
Well, I think it's good to move it to afternoon, but I think the problem there is there might be a false equivalence because their and Dave was talking about afterwards that their pay-per-views are up with the afternoons. But my only counter argument to that would be, though, yes, they're up, but you're adding more services for pay-per-view. So you added Max and you've added Amazon, and that would account for the uptick too. But I also think going in the afternoon is much better because their fan base, I think, because I told them in the Discord, because I don't get a lot of the pay-per-views because if it's a Sunday, I don't want to be up till midnight. But if it's gonna be if it's
at 3:00 on a Saturday,
yeah, I'll do it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Because I can watch it. I can go to dinner for an hour and come back and just catch up and be a little bit behind. It's not a big deal. It's not a Sunday where it's you have stuff to do, but 3:00 on a Saturday, I might start buying the shows again.
Look, make it almost like the old school where people would get together and watch. If you're doing it at 3 p.m. on a Saturday or a Sunday, you can have a bunch of your buddies and be like, I'm boarding the pay-per-view, show up, and you just sit around. You can watch, especially if it's going to be what you'd like to do, a 4 or 5 hour pay-per-view once you factor in all the pre-show stuff. Then people could show up at 3 and the show may be done by 8.
And you could go to
and then it's if it's a Sunday, you could be especially if you're getting together, it's it's 8 o'clock. I can go home, get to bed in a decent hour.
Well, I was gonna say
not a big deal.
I was gonna say if it's a Saturday though, and your friends come over, you could be like, hey, let's go to the bar and watch the Saturday night college game, whatever the feature
Yeah.
game of the week is. So it's like you can even like make an evening out of it, because then
Yeah.
you're free to like do all the evening stuff.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I think
it is a good move all around. Like I said already, it makes it much more accessible to the European crowd. Which there are some folks in another Discord I'm in that are they're in Great Britain, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is so much better. I don't have to try and get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch a show. I don't have to take tomorrow off of work if I want to watch the show live or something like that." I'm like, yeah, man. The absolute, and like you guys said, it's just a heck of a lot easier as, I don't know, adult with job
yeah, because like
to do.
especially in the evening though, like I'm an adult with a standard kind of 9 to 5 job. Like if you're going towards midnight, even like on the weekend, like I'm fighting sleep by 11. And I think
I got two small kids, so at any given day of the week, like by 11 or 12 p.m., I could be passed out on the couch. So
and
like it sometimes with this show, if there's stuff that we're going to review and everything, maybe the only time that I can watch it is late at night, very late, like 11 o'clock at night, midnight.
Yeah.
There's sometimes legit, I'll be like, it's 6 o'clock. I gotta drink a coffee right now, so I can make sure I'm still awake like 5-6 hours from now.
and
Like,
I think
gotta do it. Yeah.
I think there's other things that's going to start affecting things, because like there's someone in another Discord I'm in that's been like kind of a hater on AEW, and he went to the show and he's like I've been critical of them before. He's like, but like God damn it, like they gave me a great show for a great like ticket price. Like I hope they come back, because
Yeah, I've always. Here's the thing: if I've gone to 3 AEW shows now, I think live, and the shows they put on have been great. The biggest downfall that I've had, it's been asshat fans have been the downfall for it. But going, and they've done a great show. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good time. And you know what? I got, what was it? At Rupp Arena, it was first row of the stadium seating. So the first row not on the floor.
yeah, that's where I
Was-
sat, and the last time I went, and I
Yeah.
paid I paid
$40, 45
I paid
bucks,
like
something
50
like that.
something, yeah. When I
Yeah.
think fees came in, I think I paid like. Well, let me look. Keep talking.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna-
fees bumped it to 45 for
Let
me.
me
So
see if let me see if I have it in my.
yeah, and when I went, I bought that Sting flag. Like that's what I did. I went there, got my Sting flag, got my seat, sat down, enjoyed the show. And if I wanted to be nitpicky, I would say, filming Collision or Ring of Honor stuff after Dynamite is kind of a hard sell, because we all got fired up for the premiere show and that sort of thing. But realistically, given the TV limitations, let's just say that you got someone like me. You get home from work, you come home, you drop everything off, you turn around, you go out the door to get to the stadium. How early could you get there if they're going to film before Dynamite?
Yeah.
That's kind of a big ask.
My
So
only-
logistically, I get it.
My only complaint when I've gone to their shows is finding a place to pee is really difficult. Because it's not like WWE where they give you these huge chunks of doing nothing,
Right.
AEW makes it kind of hard. Like you kind of have to be like, okay, like when the 2 times I've gone, I've had
What am
to
I
say,
sacrificing
yeah,
for
it's
a
like
piss break?
it's like, okay, who's coming out that I'm willing to? And I don't mean to call her out. I don't mean to call her out because I know she gets a lot of hate and she doesn't deserve it. But like the one show I went to, I think it was like Soraya, and I'm like, and then it was Sky Blue. I'm like, oh, thank God, like I can go to the bathroom, and I ran to the
Yeah.
bathroom.
The first Dynamite I went to, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh God, when's there? And then I see Soraya's music and I'm like, Now's the time.
Yeah.
And I took off immediately.
Yeah. But like WWE though, I think where it's different though, if you haven't done both, like WWE, and I stopped going because like they'll make you stare at the screens for like 40 minutes at a time. And it's awful. Because
I
they
could have
don't
just stayed home.
because they do not tailor the live show. If you're at a house show, it's different. A house show is fine. I was gonna say if they come to your town, do a house show because the workers are more relaxed. It's not as rigid. They're trying stuff out. It's a little more fun, and they're having a little more fun. But like if you go to like a TV or a pay per view, they do not tailor. They do not give a flying fuck about the live audience. And
No, it's not at the
tailored
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't do anything to keep you engaged as a crowd.
No, they don't care.
Yeah.
And if I was going to watch a screen for the entire show, I just would have stayed home.
Yeah.
I would have stayed home and watched it that way because, to be honest with you, you're not going to get me to go to an NFL game. You know why? Because my recliner is a better seat than anywhere in the stadium is. Camera angles and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
It's just not going to happen.
I would, and football is my least favorite live sport.
Yeah, if I'm going to a live sport, of all the ones I've been to, basketball has been the most fun. But
You have to try
I've
hockey.
never even been to,
Hockey's the best.
I've never been to an NBA game, and I keep intending to try watching hockey, and I keep not doing it. I don't know why. I just forget.
And like I'll say MMA is rough. MMA is a rough watch. Like I get why people go, and I think it's fun for the actual fights. But the problem with MMA is, and it's nothing they can control. Like they have to reset after every fight, so you sit around a lot.
Yeah.
So like they have to clean the ring for like sterile purposes. Like people have to get set and everything. So you go through all this. They come out, they do the intros, and then a guy gets knocked out in 30 seconds. Like, oh, I have to wait for all this to reset.
Or it turns into an on the mat grappling kind of match, and you can't see a damn thing.
Yeah, because the cameramen get in your way. That was my annoyance when I went.
Yeah, and that's just the downfall of doing that as a live event. I'm not hating. I don't. That's just how it is.
It was fun. It was fun to go, but I wouldn't go back just because you're there forever.
Yeah.
And like I said,
I
there's
wasn't going to one of those.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to one of those because I wasn't going to spend enough money for a really good seat, and that meant that. How can I phrase this and be accurate and not a dick at the same time? I was more likely to be sitting next to one of those mouth breather MMA fans who think they know everything about it, but I'll get in there and do it if I wanted to. And it's like, dude,
you weigh 400 pounds. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's that sort of stuff. And it's like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I am an old man, and I will literally choke you out right here, and you will be powerless to stop me. And I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. That's how out of shape you are.
Yeah, everybody knows how to do it in theory.
That's why.
And then when you get into practice, that's why Mike Tyson's line of everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. You know how to do it in theory, and then most people lose it whenever the impact actually starts.
That's why I hated. I wouldn't pay to watch Marco stunt wrestle. I understand why AEW moved on from him immediately, but I hated the people that dished on him because it's like motherfucker, you haven't seen your dick in 10 years. Leave the guy alone.
Don't pick on the guy. He's actually out there doing it.
And he actually was fit. Like I said, it's always these fat neck beards that always think they can do all this shit, and it's like.
So, check this out.
It's like get back on your
indie show I worked at recently. There was a dude there who is a tiny dude. He's like 5'1", if that, but he's fit. But here's the thing. This dude has tailored his offense to be both good and believable as small guy offense, and he did not do a flip one. He didn't do a head scissor takeover. He didn't do a Rana. He didn't do a 450, nothing like that. He had drop downs and low drop kicks and a shining wizard and I don't think a tornado DDT counts as a flip, but
No.
he had that on lock, and the guy had the crowd with him. It's like, no, shut up. You ain't giving crap about him. This dude knows what he's doing, and I made sure to compliment him on that. I said, I really enjoyed that. I like how you've done your stuff. Look, and Marco Stunt was on TV wrestling. Shut up.
Well, and he got the crap kicked out of him almost every time too.
Well, yeah, but so?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, it just bothers me because it's always guys, and it's like I said, like, yeah, you haven't seen your dick in like 10 years. Like, just shut up. Like, at least he has like an ounce of like you can actually tell he has a bicep.
Or it's guys who maybe they're not big and heavy, but if you were to ever be like, hey, let's put up or shut up, they'd backwalk it immediately.
Yeah.
They're all mouth. And it's like, all right, come on. Yeah, let's go do this. No, man, I can't do that.
It's also guys like it's like me with my martial arts background. It's like, yeah, like if we were in this situation, like I'm not even saying I'm good, but I bet just me having like a basis of understanding balance would be more than enough to like own you, because that's how incompetent and like lack of understanding you have.
I'm just in this place where I've gotten to the point where I recognize the Chihuahua, big mouth, nothing to back it up with.
Yeah, but a Chihuahua's at least crazy, so they have that going.
Yes, that's true. But you know what I'm saying.
I think it's funny.
It makes for a fun wrestling gimmick, though.
You see it in other sports, like you'll see it in hockey, and then you'll read stories about like guys playing in beer league, and they'll be like, yeah, this guy in his like mid-50s that played like one NHL game in his whole career came in and he just owned all of us, and we were like in the primes of our lives. Yeah. Like that's what people don't understand.
There's a level of skill. It's not just raw physical ability. Matt, you look like you want to say something.
Well, that's like an aside. Like people, I think we talked about this on the show. Like people really aren't aware of just like the level you need to actually be like a professional athlete. So the vast majority of people, like a dude who's like, yeah, I played one NFL game or one NHL game just once in my lifetime. Like they are going to 95 at least % of people, they're going to smoke them. Like in that particular field, because like if you were good enough to even have been like go in there and play a game, you're just be a backup or something. It's like you are on a different level than most people, like because professional athletes are on that higher level. So yeah, like a 50-year-old who had literally like a cup of coffee in an NHL game one time could go out there and just kick the shit out of most people probably.
Or a guy who warmed the bench for a major NCAA basketball program is going to destroy just about everybody he steps on the court with.
Like I know someone that washed out of NFL training camp, and they were a skill position player, and they said they knew they were cooked because they were running drills as hard as they could. And this like 350-pound lineman was just going stride for them and talking to them, and he knew he was done, because they're like, that's the thing that people don't understand is like even like a bad NFL player is still a genetic freak, and like
the statistic that I like to use for it is that and it's just the United States for the purpose of this. Pick whatever sport you want that has a major league program to it. Out of everybody who has played that sport in their life, the amount of people that make it to the pro leagues is 1%. And that is who is there.
And the average NFL career is like 2.5 years.
Yeah. So...
And that's what people don't understand when people fail. They're like, well, I don't understand. They were so fast in college. It's like, yeah, they were college fast. And they got to the NFL, and those big, fat linemen are chasing them down because they are fast. Like, they're NFL fast.
And, yeah, and you know what? I heard a comment from somebody today about the NIL and paying college athletes and stuff. And then they made a really good point that completely flipped the way I thought about it is these are folks who have spent their entire life to do this and destroyed their bodies to do this, but they're not going to make it to the next level. So why should they not be compensated for all the money they're making for their school, the NCAA, whatever video game franchise, all the merchandising, that sort of stuff? And I was like, okay, yeah, you brought me around. That's
I get that, but it's ruined college football horribly.
Oh, I think the thing that ruined college football the most was being the transfer portal.
Well,
the transfer portal being able to move every year.
Yeah, it's stupid the way they do it. But also, like, the super conferences, like, I don't care anymore because, like, all the rivalries, like, there are those, like, side rivalries that, like, your school used to have, like, in, like, the, you know, the trophy games, you know, fighting for, like, the bell someone threw in the river in 1890 that they fight for every year. Like, those games are just gone because the conferences are too big.
Yeah. Why are Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas in the Southeastern Conference?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I don't know. Is the Big Ten not good enough, or I don't even know where they came from. But
they came from.
Why are they in
the
SEC?
From the Big 12.
So there's a Big 10 and a Big 12.
The Big 12, I don't know if it has.
Seems like a branding issue.
It's the B1G now because the Big 10 has like 16 teams in it, I think. Because they got all the Pac-10 teams, or a bunch of them last year.
Okay.
It's crazy now.
In any event,
yeah. But so I also think I think that it is funny though that with WrestlePalooza and if AEW moves to the afternoon, the WWE has intentionally like strengthened their position.
They did him a favor.
but I also think what Dave is missing though, and one element that a lot of people miss, and I've kind of said on the show a couple times, is where I think the WWE's kind of misguided going against the AEW pay-per-views is like they're going against like what the AEW brand is known for, which is like really good pay-per-views. And I think that's they're trying to go against like the one thing where I think they are at a distinct disadvantage against AEW.
They are, and at the same time, so the smart thing, if you're playing it smart, if I knew I was going into a situation that was a disadvantage, right? You know, maybe the smart play that I would do would be like, okay, well, I need to try and minimize that disadvantage by bringing the best like A game that I can possibly do, you know, or you could be a lazy shit booker and just put up like a 5-match show of garbage, which is what they just have been doing for years now, especially under the Hunter Hearst Helmsley era.
Well, I think
that let's just do a 5. We have, you know, dozens of people on the roster, you know, with multiple storylines going on Raw and SmackDown or NXT at any given moment. But let's just do 5 matches with like largely the same dozen people over and over again.
That we have burned people out on.
Well, I think I had heard someone say, I don't remember if they were credible or not, but there's a running theory that the actual reason they switched to those smaller shows is because it can let them pay people less. Because they don't have to pay their...
They pay fewer people.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because they can keep people to...
Why should I pay, like, 24 people when I can pay 12?
Yeah. But
I can have... Or 10. Like, I could just have 5 singles matches.
And, like, this show especially came off super lazy to me. Because, I mean, they didn't plan it out. But I don't think... So I kind of have a running theory that Triple H is not, like, long-term booking anything right now. Because everything really comes across disjointed, like, when I check in. And, like, Alvarez said, like... So, what I don't understand either is, so... Like, Lesnar essentially squashed Cena. But Alvarez says, from what they have told him at this point, like... That's it for Lesnar and Cena. So you're having Cena on his farewell tour, and you just had Brock squash him.
Okay, let's be
Because he needs
honest.
it, right?
Yeah.
Like Brock needs the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What? Okay. Supposedly, if bodyslam.net is to be believed, Cena was supposed to win that. Like that morning, the plan was for Cena to win that.
So it changed.
I don't know. I don't have any idea. It was, you know what? It was, if I was gonna guess, it was probably Trips being butthurt over Cena saying out in public, "I just played the cards they deal me." And they're like, "Oh, Cena picked his opponent." He goes, "No, I just play the cards they deal me."
Well,
Oh, you play the cards you deal? Well, oh, okay. Because they're so damn insecure that they can't take what should be a huge money thing, John Cena's retirement tour, and just have him do this big face run and, glad hand and that sort of stuff, and pay some people back and put over a new guy. No, we got to screw that up.
I do want to talk about his run. I'll personally say, I think that what happened was probably what Triple H wanted to happen. Like, that was his booking. I'm kind of conspiratorial minded with this now, that I think now it's because it was not well received. Like, the match, it was basically an 8 or 9 minute match.
It was
where, again,
it was
like,
their
30
match from like 10 years ago, pretty much. It was the same
but
match.
worse, because like Brock wasn't as completely gassed within 30 seconds.
Well, and Cena,
10 years
Cena's
ago.
washed too, so it was like a dual
Well,
problem.
Cena wasn't as washed like 10 years ago, but I mean, Brock certainly wasn't like, let me be horrifically red-faced and winded.
Well,
like,
he wasn't.
30
he wasn't
seconds
a lazy.
into the match.
He wasn't. So Brock in the first match, because that's why when people were like thought it was a challenge, like I'm like, who's excited for a Brock Lesnar match? Because it's gonna be like 5 minutes. It's gonna be finisher spam, and he's gonna be blown up in 30 seconds because he doesn't give a shit.
That's exactly what happened. And people, even people who like actually have like clout in the wrestling business, like Sean Ross Sapp, before this match happened, was getting like fighting back with people because people were like, because he's like, yeah, I'm not excited about this, and people are like, what do you mean? It's Brock. Brock's returning she's returning after 2 years, and Sean Ross Sapp is like, yeah, I remember him from 2 years ago, and that's why I'm not excited about this, because he was basically washed and terrible 2 years ago, and now he's 2 years older and hasn't worked, and I don't really want to see this. And lo and behold, it was exactly as you just said, Brad. It's like Brock was winded 30 seconds in, didn't do jack shit except finisher spam for like 8, 9 minutes, wherever the time frame was.
Yeah,
I personally think that is exactly how Triple H and Brock wanted it booked. I think now, because people shat on that, they're like, what the fuck is this shit? That after that, now the story is like, well, Cena was supposed to win. It's like, yeah, I'm sure like Cena was like, nah, man, like, it's my retirement, like, I'll win, everything like that. And Triple H is like, no, you can't do that, man. Brock's just coming back. Like, you're going out, Brock's back. And it's like, I'm sure that was Triple H's idea, so he like shot it down. Yeah, it could have been like Cena was like, no, like, I'll win, whatever. And Triple H shot it down, and Cena is so in like, YOLO, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, season 2 of Peacemaker, guys, on HBO Max. Everyone check it out. He's just done. So he's just like shrugged his shoulders, like, yeah, whatever. Like, and then he'll send out a tweet or something afterwards and be like, yeah, well, I don't pick my opponents or finishes, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, as a passive aggressive type of thing.
He's just like,
but
I'm
confident. I'm confident that it was just PR. That's conspiratorial minded. But the second thing is they had Cody versus Drew McIntyre, and they also they had to make a point where it's like, oh, Cody said like Cody's idea. His booking was that he was going to like lose the match because Randy Orton interfered, and this would have led to like, a match down the road where he regains the title from Drew. And it's like, yeah, but that idea
It's stupid.
sucks.
You just won the title back.
Shitty.
You just won the title
shitty.
back.
And that kind of makes me also feel like, again, you're kind of like, you have bad fucking ideas, Cody.
Well, I think that idea is fine if, like, do that at the Royal Rumble and it's fine. But it's like, you literally just won the title like 6 weeks ago. Like it and I will say this. I hate their company. I hate the way they book it. But their title the main title he has right now actually does have value because of how they booked it the last 4 years. Like, so it actually does have prestige and stuff like that. And if you start hot shotting it, like doing that with Drew would have eroded the title. Like, I think if you do it at the Rumble, it's fine. But like, if he immediately loses the belt, like, I think it erodes the title a bit. So I think it's a bad instinctual thing to do. Like, I think
agree.
the idea is fine, but the thing with wrestling is timing is as important as the idea. And I think that's where Cody fucked up in AEW, was immediately eliminating himself from like world title contention ever.
And why did he do that? Is because he didn't want the perception out there that he would be putting himself in the position for it. You know how you get past that perception? You just don't do it. Everyone's like, oh, you know, he's just going to book himself to win the title. And then it's a year later and he hasn't. Then what happens? It's like, no, that's not what he was doing. You know how I know it's not what he's doing? Because he didn't do it.
But where it screwed him up in AEW, though, is it pigeonholed him. And I think if he hadn't have done that, like, the fans wouldn't have eventually turned on him because he wouldn't have had to segment himself into his own universe.
I think they would have turned on him eventually anyway.
I personally, I have, of the three of us, I might have the most negative thoughts about Cody Rhodes. I personally think it was inevitable they would have turned on him. And I'm not surprised they turned on him because he basically started to embody, and I think this is just how he is. It's like he is where he wants to be and doing exactly what. So him always like having a bug up his ass that he's not given credit for starting AEW, and they're not, you know, kissing his ass, jerking him off about his contributions to AEW. It's like, dude, there has never been someone who, whether you meant it to or not, seemed like you were just biding your time so you could be like, make yourself a bigger star to go back to WWE, because this is exactly what you want. You want all the fucking pageantry.
I feel like it's a weird complaint from him
that.
because
He's not the worker that the Elite are, or many other people in AEW is. Like, if people are like, oh, well, you know, Cody, you know, he'll come back, and it's like, why would he come back? Why would you want him to come back? So what? Like, he can have like a fascinating 3-star match with Okada. So Will Ospreay, with his, you know, reconstructed neck, can try and drag him to like a decent match.
Well,
he's not going to be. He's not remotely at the same level as these people are.
He had
like,
about.
Not even.
He had about. I think that's part of the problem with him, though. Is he had about a 2-year run where I think he was a pretty good worker. Like, I think his match with Dustin was excellent.
Yeah, it was.
He, you know, some of his early stuff in AEW I thought was pretty good. I'd have to look back at some of the matches, but he was outputting good matches. But the problem is when he hit that last year, his output got really bad. Like, they did the Shaq feud, then they did the Ogogo thing, and then they did the Aleister Black thing, and those all kind of failed in ring. Like, some of the Sammy Guevara stuff was okay.
The Malachi Black feud is exactly where, and maybe that, I don't know, maybe that was the turning point. That was exactly where, if you, maybe that was the final straw. If it wasn't the turning point, that was the final straw. Like that, but that right there should have told you, it's like, get this fucking geek out of here. Like, let him go back, get him go to the WWE, because it was so, that was like, we just like, okay, your vision of what you want your character to be and where things need to be, like, it does not fit. Like, that's not what they're trying to do here. This is even before, like, AEW really has hit its stride. I personally feel like this year, especially, like, it is maybe as good as it's ever been. Like, and they really are hitting the stride.
This is the best they've been since, like, all the Punk stuff happened. But I don't know if it's not as good as 2021 yet. I don't think. There's been some stuff I've had complaints about, but I would say. I'd say
it's close.
This is the best it's been since it got cold.
But point is, like, that feud should have shown you, because like he comes in and he loses to Aleister Black, and it's like, okay, maybe that's the right thing. Like, hype this guy up, make him seem like a big deal. And then it's like he came back like after 2 weeks, after it seemed like, oh, I'm gonna leave my boots in the ring, I'm retired. And then he came back like with his hair, which I think it's just like his natural color. He's not really blonde.
No, he's
Like it's
if you go back and look at him in OVW when he's really young, he has black hair. So black is his
yeah, he has like
natural
black
color.
hair. Well, he's
Yeah.
like he's yeah, he's like I think like a quarter half, like he's part Cuban. Like he
I
doesn't
do-
have the fucking bleach blonde hair.
I do think he does look better with blonde hair. Like I think it fits him better the way he does his blonde hair than the black hair, but like he is naturally has dark hair.
Yes, so he came back, and then like he died it like 2 weeks after that, and made some comments, and he was dead serious. Where it's like, I was trying to do like a homage to like the Death of Superman comic books, and it's like
that was Brody Lee he did that with.
Yeah, that was the Brody Lee.
That was
thing.
Brody
oh no, maybe that. Well, like whatever.
But still,
he
it
threw
was
that out there, and it's like, who remembers this? I'm a comic book geek. I would have never in a million years been like, if you were like, if you told me, guess what? Give me a hint. I could hint. This is the comic book storyline. I would have been like, okay, I had no idea it was a comic book storyline. I don't know. I would have named 100 different things before I would even like remotely touch that. Like I would have had to been like, there's a dartboard. I'm going to start throwing it at names of superheroes, and you tell me which superhero it lands on as to what this storyline is. Green Lantern, Spider-Man, Blue Beetle, Blue Devil. Was another superhero with blue. Like
the reason that wouldn't work. The reason I'm going to say it doesn't work is, because he's like, he had a hair change. It's like, no, after the death of Superman,
he just had a mullet.
Clark Kent had a mullet.
Yeah.
His hair didn't change color. He had a mullet. That's what that was. Cody, you took a Sharpie to your hair. That's not the same thing. Like, dude. Now look, I'm not ever I can't bring myself to hate on Cody Rhodes. And in WWE, my opinion is that Cody probably does as well as anyone could with what he's handling. And that sounds like I'm damning with faint praise, but honestly, I'm not trying to.
No, they did. I mean, he did a pretty good job of not getting any backlash until this Mania, and I would not say that was his fault.
No.
People have criticized his work for 2025, and I think that they are absolutely right. Like it's not been as good, and he doesn't seem.
But
like,
he's not. But he's not.
When he beat,
he's not wrestling anyone good though.
No, but also like when he beat Roman, it's like, oh, now you're like the guy, and then they have really just pissed all that away.
I mean, I will say in his defense, he has not been good this year, but his opponents haven't been good. And the SummerSlam match with Cena was a goddamn miracle. He got something watchable out of Cena. Like, I will give him that as credit. Like, the match, some people will say it's good. I would say it's watchable. But compared to, like, his stuff with, like, Punk, the first Cody match, some of the other stuff Cena's done this year, the Orton and R-Truth matches, like, I'm sorry, but, like, I will give Cody props. Like, you got something watchable out of this version of Cena. Bravo.
Cena... the thing that I'll admit, I haven't watched it, but here's my perception. Is the Cena heel run stuff sucked.
Oh, it's terrible.
It was just trash the whole way around.
No, his face stuff's trash,
When
too.
Cena flips back to face, though, it's like... He's not as good as he was. He can't be. But it's like he's got some of that back. And it's like, okay, oddly enough, you take John Cena and let him be a babyface, he knows how to do that. He's practiced at it.
The matches
and so he's going to be better.
Good.
That's a good segue, because someone actually, I want to talk about Cena's run. Because, look, I don't like Triple H, so people are blaming it on Triple H. And he's the booker, so, I mean, he does kind of bear the ultimate responsibility.
Yeah, but
like,
this
I
is
also
the thing.
kind of feel like
Triple
H
is a cuck. He's not going to tell John Cena to do something that John Cena doesn't want to do.
That's what I say. The other side of that is that John Cena can say no, and John Cena is the one who's actually doing this. So
and Triple H is too fair. Triple H is too afraid of anything negative getting out about him that he'll just capitulate immediately. If they
it's going to come out after this run's over.
Yeah.
Cena after he's done, Cena don't care. Cena's spilling tea, boys.
If they don't have like clout, like I think Triple H will put his foot down, but I do not see anyone with any like amount of political power or sources like saying no and Triple H not backing down, because everything from his his stint as like head of creative just tells me he's a bitch that backs down if you have any sort of pull with you. And the other thing is Cena will just be like, I'm not doing that. And here's Nick Khan to tell you to shut the fuck up.
He can, if he wanted to. I can absolutely believe that this is bad booking by Triple H. And that Cena is just like checked out, doesn't care. So he just like shrugs his shoulders like, yeah, okay, whatever. But when he should, it is on him because like one, you're the performer. So if you're giving shit, you can maybe try and you can either say no. That's the number one. You can say no. Like, I'm not doing that. John Cena, fuck you. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But if you're like checked out, you're like, yeah, whatever. Cashing my paycheck in my final year. You could at least be like, try to make it work. And he has kind of like given bad promos and stuff like that. Where he's just like, it's like you clearly like you're going through the motions.
He's buried some people. Like, I don't like CM Punk, but like CM Punk, like absolutely got the shit buried out of him in their little program, like horribly.
He did, but I actually find that amusing. So
I'm trying to keep my dislike for him out and be fair. Like, you had one of your top baby faces lay there for 10 minutes while the heel monologued. Like, it is absolutely...
Yeah, let me tell you for 10 minutes how you suck.
Yeah.
It's like... But at the same time, this is a very like maybe dated and like specific reference, but it's like if you ever saw like it's years ago at this point, but the Family Guy episode where Brian the dog is like having dinner with Quagmire who hates him. And Brian's like, well, why don't you like me? Like, how can you not like me? And then Quagmire just hands him his ass for like 2 minutes, explaining every single terrible thing about him and why he's unlikable and no one likes you. It's like, that was like, John Cena's like, let me like sit back here while you have to lay there on the Slim Jim sponsored broken table and tell you why you're a piece of shit.
Can we briefly divert to something I want to talk about with the WWE and why I hate?
Well, hang on, no, because I still want to revel in John Cena shitting on CM Punk.
Well, it has something to do with CM Punk though. But
go ahead.
They're all black canvases they have now. I hate them. I hate them so much. They're so.
It's bad. And why are they doing it to make the sponsor logos pop more? I assume
know. It looks so bad. But anyway, back to crap on CM Punk. But I had to. But like. It just that program was so bad, and the thing is, I think creative is at fault, but Cena bears a lot of the responsibility for that being bad.
Yeah,
and
I know
creative can't make them have good matches either. That's all on him. The bad matches are on him.
The devil's advocate I have for that is, what did we have for 2005? What did we have for, I don't know, 10, 15 years? Is John Cena as a good guy. Frankly, It would not shock me if John Cena just doesn't, he doesn't have the skill set to work as a heel.
Yeah, but he got over as a heel,
and so
though. That's what started his rise to stardom.
He was like, he was an edgy face calling out Lesnar at the time.
But they don't, what big... But great baby faces do they have? This is a Triple H book company. What great, strong, amazing baby faces do they have to like counter him?
Well, I was also going to say,
they had Punk, but they kind of fuck that.
If you're going to do it, like you really should had him just be like a really just dastardly, like shitty, like asshole heel, but they didn't want to do that. But
they could have had Drew. They could have had Drew, but they've screwed Drew so much.
They've ruined.
He's still screwed. Oh yeah, which I don't have any sympathy for Drew because it's like you are secretly going to Vince McMahon's birthday party and like trying to avoid taking pictures of that. So it's like fuck you. Like come on, you know what you're doing. Point is, someone made a list. Someone on Twitter made a list of things that with this Cena, this is the last year of Cena. Like the Cena last year run and all the missteps they feel like has been done. So they listed final Rumble appearance ended with a light shove. Generational heel turn with zero plan. I personally feel there was no real strong plan. And I kind of agree. I kind of think, again, maybe I'm conspiratorial minded, but I kind of think that this was Rock being like, Yeah, like Mania was like selling like shit, so I just came up with this idea of a
Well,
Cena heel turn.
my personal theory is the original plan was for him to turn on Cody during the match at Mania, like Austin and Rock,
Yeah,
and kick it
I
off that
agree.
way.
I
But
think yeah,
Mania sales were lagging, so it was a panic move to try and generate, because the build for Mania was terrible. So I think it was like a
yeah,
last ditch effort to try and spark something because like it wasn't landing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that's the case. And the other reason I think it doesn't work is the same reason it didn't work for Austin. Nobody wants to boo their hero like that. I don't care
Well,
how good the
I think it would have.
greatest heel turn ever is.
I think it would have worked. Because I thought it was an interesting idea. Like I'm going to own up. I thought it was an interesting idea. I thought that was the way they should go. But then he didn't show up for 3 weeks, and it lost all of its momentum.
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
We talked about that.
Yeah, and then the match at Mania was bad, and then
Yeah.
they immediately put him with Randy Orton, which just like no one gives a shit about Cena and Randy Orton.
That's on the list. So
Okay.
after the heel turn, it's cheap ruined wrestling heel arc instead of desperate Cena heel arc, which is like, well, you're right. That is way more compelling. That it's like this is Cena's last year. He have him be like almost like 1989 Terry Funk, where it's like, I'm old, like I'm but I can still do it, and then like just desperately like I'm gonna turn heel because like I want one last championship. Like I gotta go out on top. Point is, like, then it says last WrestleMania match and last world title win overshadowed by a 2-minute run-in from a rapper. Travis Scott.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Well, because they're actually going to do like a fucking match with Travis Scott, but whatever like happened between them, like Travis Scott, like they had a falling out, so Travis Scott.
Well,
and Travis Scott's a giant flake.
Well,
I guess Jelly Roll, got the match down the road.
God.
Then they have, since you mentioned it, final Orton match, ruined by R-Truth lore. Which, sidebar, like that's the other thing. Like R-Truth got fired, then became serious Ron Killings again for 2 minutes. Because of the backlash, they rehired him, and he's back to doing the minstrel show comedy shit that he's done for like 10 years.
That he wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah, so it's like,
yeah, no, but he just
it's kind of sad, but
no, but
God bless like 55-year-old Ron Killings.
No,
still getting a paycheck.
It was. He out-carnied them. He didn't want to be a serious face or heel. That was just a talking point to like get more pressure on them and get a bigger contract. And then after he got like that 1 or 2 matches, he's like, oh no, LOL guys, I was just kidding. I want to go back to showing up for 2 minutes and getting a shitload of money. Like, haha, like smell you later.
Yeah. So after that, they have 2 weeks of glazing Logan Paul and promos. It's like, awful Money in the Bank tag team match.
I forgot about that tag. What? You know what's terrible is I've forgotten some of these awful, like the Travis
they're really
Scott
bad,
thing.
but they're the only thing that's saving them is that it's forgettable. I forgot about it too. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, they did have that, and it's like that was this year. Anyway, last Punk match had Vision lore. I'm not sure what they mean. Like Vision, the comic book character, Marvel.
No, that's the name of Seth Rollins' little group is the Vision.
Oh, random.
Hang on, let me make the appropriate motion.
It confuses me every time I see it, and you would think after like a couple months I would get used to it, but every time I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's Braun and Bronson, who no one gives a shit about, but okay, whatever.
Yeah. Random babyface turn. It's like, it's like, oh, now I'm a babyface. I'm a good guy again. It's like, what? Like
that's kind of not true, because he would have these weird moments in matches where he would do this like weird shit where because he was feeling things and all this stuff, it was really it was a detraction from his stuff. Like,
all right,
trying to like add nuance.
Redeemed his Mania match with Cody at SummerSlam, but the aftermath featured a guy named in a federal lawsuit returning, aka Brock.
I forgot. Jesus Christ! This is worse when like they're listing this off and I even remember.
Yeah, had a 25-minute epic with Logan Paul that he could have done with AJ Styles or Carmelo Hayes. Well, AJ Styles isn't like the man he used to be. Carmelo Hayes, he has a certain complexion that Triple H
Well,
is
and
never going to actually
let's be
like,
honest
push him
here.
in a certain way.
Well, let's be honest here. No one would push Carmelo Hayes because no one gives a shit about him.
He's a good worker.
But he has no charisma. He has like I've never seen.
He
has
doesn't.
like he has zero charisma.
He doesn't have the charisma that someone like Swerve has. That take him outside of the WWE environment because you've been fired or whatever, and maybe you can actually become a big star. And Swerve has loads of charisma. So it's like, well, it's no wonder you are the star that you are because it's like every box he gets checked.
Yeah.
Like, you can speak, you're a good worker, but you can speak, you have charisma, you have star appeal. You can literally, that's what, like when he won the title and they're really pushing him, and he's still a star, obviously, but when he was doing interviews, and it's like, oh, that was when, to me, it clicked. It's like, I like Swerve, but it's like, oh, you're like a star, because you could be like, you could take that dude, plunk him in like Good Morning America, something that's not his element, plunk him down in Good Morning America to be like, yeah, you got 10 minutes to hype up like the upcoming pay-per-view, go. And he could have easily fit and been like, funny, charismatic, like that's like, oh, that's what I knew. But anyway,
Carmelo Hayes is the guy.
Final SmackDown match ended with lawsuit man interference. I love this for his lawsuit man. And then the last one is got squashed in 8 minutes by the lawsuit man in a bad recreation of their SummerSlam 2014 match. True.
Yeah. I was going to say Carmelo Hayes, though, is that guy that will jump to another company at some point, and then he just ends up in the exact same spot in the other company, and then you figure out, like, oh, yeah, he really doesn't have it.
I could see him faring better in AEW. No. But you're not
nothing,
unless he's not going to win the world title.
There's nothing,
I think he would be featured better. But
yeah, but I think the problem with Carmelo Hayes is he's not good enough. Like there's just nothing about him that warrants there's nothing special about him. Like he's a good worker, but he's not like a great worker. He's not an elite worker. He doesn't really have charisma. So like he's kind of dime a dozen. And like I think Trick had more potential, but Trick has not developed. And
Trick is the opposite in that he has charisma, but he is not good in ring.
He's getting worse.
Well, he has nothing to work with. Like they have him more working with TNA people than NXT people.
So I think it's a desperate bid to try and.
Because the NXT champions too, like Obafemi, right?
Yeah.
Who actually I think
has potential.
Who unfortunately I think he has a lot of potential and he could be a huge star, but he also seems like he might be like very fed-brained. So it's like a guy like that. If you got him out of the Fed system, like you took him for like a year or two, and put him in like Japan, and then had him come to like AEW, he'd be a beast. He'd be absolutely amazing.
I even think I think even if he left or they shipped him off to like even Noah for like a year, I think it would do him a world of good. But I think a lot of their talents would be served by going somewhere else and working. Because I think the problem I think they have with training, and he's not as bad, but like he's one of those has some natural talent to overcome things, but their workers seem to hit like a point where they just can't get any better. Like I think Tiffany Stratton is a good example where I think she's actively getting worse now.
Some people are actually saying, I never really liked her, but some people are saying like, oh, she was called up too soon. Like, oh, they shouldn't have put the world title on. It's like, oh, she wasn't ready for this. And it's like, it's kind of bad that even like your diehard fans are like seeing through. They're looking behind the curtain and seeing. Like, I don't particularly like her, and I think she is dramatically overrated. But yeah, I can accept arguments that she has regressed or that she's not.
But I think
she's not being served well.
I think though the excuses for that stuff, and they say it in a lot of things, like if you're good enough, there's no too early unless it's way too early. And like at her point in your career, like if they put a belt on you, like it is kind of sink or swim at any point in your career. And if you're sinking, like you do bear some of the responsibility if you're sinking. Because at some point, like, yeah, you can say, okay, well, she wasn't ready. Well, okay, what does she have to do to be ready? Why isn't she rising to the occasion and trying harder? Like,
They don't. You were saying that you've got people they train that get to a certain point, and then they don't get any better because they're not working with good enough people to help them get better. They don't have veteran carpenters around to help them refine some stuff. Everybody who hangs or seems to hang around there either only works with other people that are on that top level, or they hang around because they got a tie to somebody else. You don't have, and this is
let's use Brad
I'm gonna be
Armstrong.
reaching for an example. Yeah, well, you don't have Arn around. He's not doing main event stuff, but he's on TV all the time. So somebody has a feud with Arn or Bobby Eaton or something, and they learn and get better from it. It's,
They also don't have they don't have a lot of house shows, so it's not like, okay, you're kind of green, so we're gonna give you Brad Armstrong, we're gonna give you Coco Ware, like the second card on like a bunch of house shows, and that you're gonna work with them for 8 minutes, and they're just gonna teach you. Or hey, Nick Bockwinkel's coming to town. He wants to work with the young guys, so we're gonna put you in there for 10 minutes with Nick Bockwinkel, and you're gonna get like 6 months of experience because Bockwinkel is just gonna teach you like a bajillion things. And
see, if I was running a show, then those are the people I grab and I go, look, I need you to do something. We got this new guy. He's coming up. I think he's got a lot of promise. But I need for you to, teach this guy. Bring him up, okay? Can you do that for me? And whenever you get that, because the mindset for a long time is, well, you just go out there and you work and then you learn as you go. It's like, no, how about we explicitly teach people stuff? Could we maybe try that? But
that's what New Japan does. Like a lot of the Tenzan, Kojima, and Nagata for a long time, they were working undercard and they'd work with young guys. And they just have is being a worker, Shad. Let's say it was like your 5th or 6th match. And let's say, hey, Shad, we'll throw someone out there. Let's say like, hey, Brad Armstrong's coming to town and he wants to work with the young guys. So you're getting 10 minutes with him. So let's say you work this 10-minute match with Brad Armstrong that he calls. Like, how much more development do you think you would get in 10 minutes with Brad Armstrong than you would get in like just 20 matches with Joe Schmuck from like Tennessee?
It's also that if I'm working that with Brad Armstrong, then I would hope that he's also going, okay, look, here's what we're doing. Here's why we're going to do it. And then after the match, he goes, okay, I like this stuff. Don't do this stuff. Okay. Like this is the stuff that's going to carry you, or this is the stuff that's not going to carry you. Like someone who's good and is willing to, I don't know, teach people stuff. God, I don't know what it is, but there were so many people that would just. I know I mentioned it when we had JR Rock on. It's like JR would say to me, he's like, "Okay, this is good," or, "Dude, don't do that. That's not gonna. That doesn't. Don't do that."
Or
why? And why is JR saying that? Because JR didn't care. Like he knew that he was secure, so he's just like, "No, man, I'm gonna give you good advice." There we go.
Or Brian Alvarez talked about this once when he was coming up, he said they went to a show one night and Buddy Wayne like went and talked about the match, like, no, we're calling it all in the ring. And he was like freaking out, and then they went and did it. He's like, oh my God, I learned so much stuff from doing that.
Yeah. I remember that. Remember him saying that. And yeah, that's another reason why I never wanted to lay stuff out ahead of time, because I would get better if I didn't. I had to think on my feet. I had to plan. I had to adjust. It made me better. Yes, please do that.
Well, I think the people and you see it with WWE though, and I think I think you can plan stuff out, but sometimes you have to adjust on the fly. Like if the crowd isn't going along with it, then you need to stop doing your scripted horse shit and like adjust.
The phrase that I use, or the example that I use, is if you're going to call everything in the back, you have to be good enough to know it'll work. You have to be Randy Savage, because Randy called everything in the back. Okay, you got to be Randy Savage or DDP to do it, because DDP liked doing that too.
Yeah, but the
Are
thing,
you Randy Savage or DDP?
Yeah.
No.
And the thing is, and I say this about when people talk about working the arm, and like, yeah, I've seen Dusty Rhodes do that, but Dusty Rhodes could get over reading a phone book. And it's like the same thing with Randy Savage. Like, it doesn't matter because Randy Savage will Randy Savage his way through it.
Yeah. So that's. I had to have that conversation. Had to have that conversation. Okay. So last month, I think, the promotion I'm working with, they were doing kind of this fantasy camp. Kids would come in and get a little taste of it, and then whenever, because they asked me to talk about match structure, and so I'm talking about it, and the kids are like, "Well, other people don't do that." I said, "You gotta understand, the folks you see on TV are not other people. The folks you see on TV are the really good ones. So I don't care how good someone thinks they are. There's a reason that this is the tried and true method. Don't screw with it until you're ready to screw with it, because you're not." And maybe I was getting ahead of myself in saying that, but it's true. You're not. You have to be good enough to. You have to be good before you can start doing shortcuts. You have to be good before you can start, being lazy. Because then otherwise everybody's going to see through it.
Well, I think that's
we saw
also,
through it with Randy Orton.
Yeah. I also think that's true, though, when people, like, when wrestlers cosplay, like, in Japan as being a bad wrestler. And I always say, like, no, you have to be a good wrestler to actually successfully be a shit wrestler in the ring.
Yeah. You've got to be bad to be good.
Yeah.
I thought about that earlier today because someone reminded me of the Goldberg Grado entrance, and I watched it back and I laughed and I enjoyed it. And then I got thinking, I was like, I need to see some, like, I want to see some Grado stuff because I want to know, like, what does this guy do? I haven't hunted down matches for him yet. I've looked at his entrances and his interviews and stuff, and they're great and they're fun. But I'm like, I want to know. I want to get some more. Like, give me good comedy. Like you said, you have to be skilled at it. You got to be good to do good comedy stuff.
You know who's really underrated at it and shows he was a good wrestler is when Abyss would be Joseph Park and he would be a bad wrestler and he'd be cowardly and like his facial expressions and all of that. Like, he was a very underrated.
I don't remember him doing it as a bad wrestler. I remember him doing it as a backstage personality.
He was cowardly, but like, there's a great WWE segment where like AJ, it's like I think the only WWE screen time he got where AJ Styles is berating him.
And yeah, because he was like AJ's analytics guy or something. Yeah.
But
that's
I think people miss, and I think what other people don't understand too is they overthink things because a lot of times, like, no, you don't need to do that. Like, just give them, like, I think we've talked about that with AEW is like predictable and basic bitch, but there's this idea that like basic bitch booking is bad, and I think it's like the TV tropes brain rot. But it's like, no, like, if you execute basic bitch booking really well, it'll get over. Like, look at the things in WWE that have like really like hit really well the last couple years. It's none of the stuff people say they like. It's like the wrestling basics being executed, like the Cody Rock thing from like last year. Like when they get, and I think crap. I can't think of the podcast name because my brain's fried. We talk about them all the time. Flagship talked about this, about how when you give WWE fans just a little smidge of like real wrestling, like they go absolutely insane over it.
Oh, well, to that point, I saw someone
We're talking about the Punk, AJ Lee, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch match, but they commented on a spot where it was, and guys, how many times in the matches we've seen, wrestling matches we've seen, which at this point between the three of us is thousands of matches.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen in a tag team match, the spot to the point where it is like a trope? You see the face, one of the faces, the Ricky Morton, they're getting the piss beat out of them. They're taking all the heat. And, they're working for the hot tag their opponent because they're getting beat the shit out of them. And, the heel team's just pounding on them. And it looks like they're going to make that tag. And all of a sudden, like the heel tag partner comes in, distracts the ref. It's like, get out of the ring. And then the face makes the tag, but the ref doesn't see it. So it's like, I got to turn around. Like, no, you can't get out of the ring. There was no tag. And then the heels beat on him, for some more heat. How many times have you seen that spot? Thousands? Thousands of times over the last decade?
Because it works!
So a variation of that spot happened in the Becky, Seth, CM Punk, AJ Lee match. And this person saw it and it's like, oh, this is actually a really clever spot. And it's like, you clearly don't watch anything outside the WWE, because the WWE has done this sort of thing, but they don't give a shit about tag team wrestling and haven't for like the better part of 3 decades. So you probably haven't seen, I mean, if they had done the spot, it probably has been like, many years it's done. So it's not like, the last 5 years, which is when clowns have actually been watching this shit because of the bloodline.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't know about this spot, but this spot has been done thousands of times in just about every tag team match.
This spot
we're done.
I would actually say it's like I mean it works, but and I'm not saying this in a negative way. But like when you're talking about Southern style and Southern tags, like it's almost like a cliche. Yes. Like that would be having a Southern tag without that spot would be like having a Star Wars movies without lightsabers.
Yeah.
And why do you do it? Because it pisses people off. You get in there, you do all of that.
Easy way to get the heat, yeah.
It is, and it's fine.
And
you know why? You do it because it works, and people see that, and they know what's coming, and it pisses them off even more.
To take it full circle back to like a Werner Herzog, it's like this is just a morality play. It's like the bad guys do something underhanded and then to add drama to when like the face eventually, the face team will make that hot tag, and then it's like that just you're building up the drama. I'm so angry at the dastardly heels for doing what that's so underhanded, and then finally it's like they make that face makes that tag, house of fire, crowd erupts, everything. It is the most simplistic shit that you've seen a million times, but the WWE fans, like, because they're not really wrestling, like when they see it, it's like, oh wow, that's actually really clever. It's like, what, the thing that 2 + 2 = 4? Like that's a clever. Yeah. Oh, 2 + 2 is 4. That's clever. It's like, what? Yes, okay, but that's commonplace. Like, yeah.
Like it's like
that's where we're at now.
It's like an expected spot for me. Like, and there's a million ways you can do it. Like there's all sorts of ways you can like do that spot. Like someone saying that's a clever spot. It's like, have you watched wrestling?
No, they haven't. That's the thing.
And here's the other thing. Okay. I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say like the one thing I'm thinking of, like, because you're like, yeah, it's this expected spot. In my brain, it just went to like the one time I saw it where that spot was subverted in a funny way was the tag match they did where it was Sting like teaming with Ric Flair against the Horsemen. And Sting does the hot tag to Ric Flair, and Ric Flair comes in, you think he's going to House of Fire, then he immediately turns.
We did that on the show, yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that's like the one time, it's like that spot is subverted in a way that to me is still hilarious, like 30 years out, 25 years out.
Sting was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
They have
what were you going to say, Shad? I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
The thing I was going to say is, like you said, everybody knows this one. And so you know how it works, and it pisses you off even more. But the thing that WWE did for like 10 years was all of their tag matches did not have a hot tag. Now we're seeing it more, and that's something I enjoy in AEW, is that why it's exciting. You know, the face does something, dives. Oh, there's the hot tag. Here comes the other guy, and the heels are like, oh god, this guy's fresh, because they had. I've used the term iceberg tags, and I've refined why I call them that. They're both in the ring. They're both down. It's a double down, and they both go to their corner, and they're going so slow, and they're reaching for it. So they both very slowly float to their other corners, and they kill all the heat. Because now, instead of having a hot tag, you have two of them it's slower than wrestlers climbing a ladder. Very slowly crawling their way to their corner to make a tag. And it's like they tried to get rid of the hot tag for reasons I don't understand. It's like, oh no, it's easier to get heat this way. And it's like, is it, like, if you do it occasionally, and it's a race between two people that are not stupid, okay, fine. But as the default, no. No, the default is I'm trying to get over there to get the tag. I'm trying really hard. When I get the opening and go for it, and it works, that's exciting. But, you know, they didn't want anybody to do that. And then they just kind of, basically all their tag matches went to shit anyway.
Their tag matches
they don't
were
care
never
about 'em.
good, but I don't know why they were so against that. I think because it was too southern or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know. I think the Cena thing. I think creative is a problem, but I think his performance was definitely like an issue. I think it's hilarious though that I've been paying attention just because the badness fascinates me, and Matt's reading this list off like, oh my god, I forgot about that. Like I forgot. Like it shows how bad it is that you actually forget how bad it is.
I don't throw as much of it on Cena because it feels like they had him do the thing that he is weakest at doing. So yeah, he's gonna suck at it. Like this is not a guy who, like, in the major promotion worked heel for an extended period of time. And he just didn't.
And we also need to you need to bring up though that they kind of are pay-per-views again. And this was I saw someone, where were they? They were, did we talk about it? It was, so someone was talking about how they had the ESPN thing and then they had to upgrade to $30 and they're like, I'm not paying for this. Like, I'll just not watch it.
Yeah.
Like,
and it was complicated and people thought they had it and they didn't.
And then they were like, I would rather you just go back to pay-per-view and make me pay $50.
Yeah. Than me have to lose the bundle I have for Disney and Hulu and ESPN, then upgrade my ESPN, lose the bundle. Like it shakes out being cheaper.
Yeah, because a lot of us are in, like, because I'm still in it for some reason. I don't know how I still am, but like some of us are in like legacy accounts that have that bundle, but we're only paying like $12 a month.
Yeah. I literally signed up for the bundle. Was like Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, whatever.
Yeah.
I think in like the summer of 2019, and I did it because our oldest daughter is being born in the fall, and I'm like, oh, you know, we're gonna be home with our baby, like on maternity leave. Like, let me just sign up for this Disney Plus bundle and everything. We'll just blow through watching like a lot of content. Which again, Chad, you have kids, like. Actually, you find like there's surprisingly little time to watch jack shit. So I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll be like at home all day, maternity watching stuff, and it's like, no, you're gonna be tired all the time, so you're gonna sleep.
And the stuff you do watch,
yeah,
is not new. You end up watching the same stuff over and over again.
Frozen a million times, Moana a million times. Like
there's a dad humor
account.
account. I'm sorry, man. Let me get this out real quick.
Yeah.
There's a dad humor account that I follow that said a Valentine's Day poem for my wife. Roses are red, violets are blue, the kids are asleep, we don't have to watch Cars 2.
I was going to say, like, it hasn't been out that long, but I have seen multiple times K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm sure that's going to be on repeat a lot more. To the point where I've listened to the soundtrack. Yesterday I listened to the soundtrack twice in the car, dropping my kids off. Twice.
Yeah.
Twice. It's not even a long car ride. But anyway,
I already had Hulu, so it just made more sense. But I'm still like, I haven't paid full price for it yet. And a lot of people are like on it from cell phone plans or other things, and like they won't.
Yeah.
You can't get the full thing. Like they're gonna make you upgrade to the
No.
30. Like they really fucked it. I mean, they don't care, but they really fucked over their fans.
Yeah. And
Well,
they yeah,
this
they did.
there some of this that you're talking about, because I actually wanted to talk about this too. Was a lot of stuff was actually being posted on like the WWE subreddit, and they were trashing this show and the WWE in general, to the point where now it's noteworthy. It's like your fans, your diehard fans, are shitting on you. One person, this was like the top
Big
rated
Janny's
comment,
just
I guess.
fell asleep at the wheel for an hour. That's what happened with their subreddit.
Yeah. This is apparently like, this was like the top rated comment or.
Remind me when we're done
Yeah.
with this. I have a thing I have to laugh at Reddit about when we're done.
Okay. One of like the top rated comments on the WWE subreddit was someone being like, I went to WrestlePalooza. This was one of the worst shows I've ever watched. Genuinely, right now, it's the most deflated I've ever been as a wrestling fan. And I don't know what the future of this company is going to look like. We deserve better than this. If you enjoyed the show, I'm so glad. I was there in person. The crowd was practically silent the whole show. Nothing happened. The whole show was one giant spit in the face to wrestling fans. Constant ads, yes, in person, promoting football and basketball players more than the damn wrestlers. That was the last time I'll ever see Cena in person. And I wish I just stayed home. It was that bad. I want to be positive about wrestling show. I've been a fan since I was 5 years old. I tried my absolute best and failed. The ESPN era is truly the end of what we love. Saudi Arabia will own this company in 2 to 5 years, and TKO does not give one single fuck about any of us. Great way to kick off a new era of WWE. Just so wonderful. That was someone who allegedly went to the show. But then there was another comment.
But like with that comment though,
Good.
they've been doing this shit for like over a year. Why is it suddenly bothering you? They're not doing anything different.
Well, I mean, I think
I would say
they are
they
doing something
hit,
different.
they
in the
hit
sense
their breaking
they're,
point, but
yeah, they are doing something different in that they've jacked up prices. Like, and I know this because friend of the show, Chris DiPetrillo, like I think Raw, like came. It was Raw. I don't think it was SmackDown. They came to like Providence, which he lives in Rhode Island, and not like he lives just outside of Providence, but close enough that it's like a few minutes drive into Providence to go see it at the big arena. And once he like crunched the numbers of like him going, even him just going with his son, and he was like, no, like I can go down to like the local indie show for like I can buy tickets and for less than $100, whereas like just the two of them going to getting shitty seats would have been like hundreds of bucks, and it's like this makes no financial sense. And it's like that's a dude who like he and his kid love wrestling, would absolutely go to the WWE. But it's like, yeah, you price them out. Like you price families out.
He'd be a core fan too, is what I would classify him too.
yeah.
Yeah. But there's two other comments that someone like was reposting some of the comments. And this actually, maybe this is what you're talking about. This person on the Reddit said, didn't even watch it. We tried, we have an ESPN bundle, but apparently not the right bundle. This is kind of going towards like people beforehand, they're like, oh, there's all the problems. And all the WWE, like, kiss ass, like PR accounts, like Julian Weeks or whatever, was like, no, you're lying. Like, it's easy to do it. And it's like people beforehand, including Dave Meltzer, were like, no, actually, it's a problem. Like, it's not available on all the platforms. And the WWE has to even make deals with some of these platforms to actually, like, do it. It's not that easy. And people aren't aware that you can't just, like, get the pay-per-view. Like, you have to have the right ESPN Plus bundle.
Yeah.
Point is, this person is like, didn't even watch it, tried to watch, we have an ESPN bundle, apparently not the right bundle. I pay $10 a month for Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, like we said, and get a discount of almost $50 off my cell plan for having that bundle as an add-on, not upgrading to ESPN Unlimited for $30 to get what I already have and lose my discount on my cell plan just to watch PLEs. That's financial idiocracy and not going to happen. They've already priced my family out going to any of the live events, as it will be well over $1,200 to go with my wife and kids with the current pricing for nosebleed seats. And now they've removed all PLEs from us. Great job, WWE TKO at this point. Bring back the pay-per-view events so we can just buy the singular events we want to watch. Even at $80 per PLE, it's more cost effective than adding another subscription. And it's like, if you actually think about that from this person's perspective, he's right, because it's like he pays $10 for the bundle. He'd have to pay $30 more to get the right bundle.
Or to get
all right, that's $40.
Or get a different account to keep
Plus,
his
it'd be
cell phone.
$50 off. He gets 50. Yeah, he gets $50 discount from his cell phone for having the right bundle. But if he loses that, then that's, they're adding that $50 more. So it's like, if you pay $80 for a pay-per-view, but otherwise you'd be charged $90 doing all this. I'm saving $10 if I did that. Well, first off, in big 2025, why are you paying $80 for like a pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Even $50 with AEW, it's like,
that's the max.
I wouldn't do that necessarily all the time. Like, for a show like All In Texas, yeah, maybe I'll plop the money down. But other shows, it's like, okay, do I need to do that, or do I just subscribe to HBO Max and I get it down the road?
Yeah.
But some other person commented too. This last thing I'll say about the Reddit stuff. But it's like, try to buy tickets for my family since Indiana, I guess is Indiana is close to us. Nope, I'm not paying over $700 for 3 seats in the nosebleed section at the top of the arena. I guess this era isn't for family. And I personally feel like they are going to kill the company. TKO is going to kill the company way more than anything. And people need to be actually, WWE fans, you're a hardcore WWE fan, you actually need to be worried, because this is how it starts. This is what's going to happen. Like, the corporate greed is going to be that they want to try to make this like the UFC, where it's like, oh, it's an event. Wait. Like, you should pay nosebleed seats, but it's like, yeah, but UFC is like an event. Like, you can pay a lot of money to go to like the numbered shows or whatever. But this is wrestling. Like, it's supposed to be affordable. It's supposed to be like, kind of lowbrow, like cheap entertainment. No one's going to pay like, oh, I could pay mortgage, $1,200 a month this month to pay my mortgage, or I could go to a WWE show to see like even if you do like a 5-match pay-per-view. Well, that's like one of the matches. It's like, let me see, Cena get squashed for 8 minutes by Brock Lesnar.
It's going to get even worse than that, though, because their new plan, which I don't know if we've talked about on the show, which I think it just happened this week, but their new genius plan is, even for TV, they're going to start wanting site fees from the city. So now, there's a good chance. There's a good chance they might not even come to your town anymore, because a lot of probably where I used to live are going to be like, no, fuck you. Like, we have concerts and all this shit coming in. We're not paying you for a TV show.
Yeah. I would hope that reality comes crashing down on them, that they can't do that, but I don't know. Like, but that's insane. And it's like, again, you're gonna kill this company, and maybe that's the plan. They don't give a shit. TKO doesn't give a shit. They'll just bleed it dry, or they'll bleed the fans as much as they can the next couple of years, and they'll just sell it to Saudi Arabia.
But I mean, I think Mania is going to turn into like a Saudi Arabia event going forward.
Okay, the rumor mill around Saudi Mania kills me, because they're like, no, we want you to bring back all those old guys. We want Taker and Austin and Shawn Michaels and stuff back. And I'm like, you know what? Go for it. Knock yourself out.
Am I like misremembering this, or wasn't like the Saudi Prince or something?
He won
Yokozuna back.
Yes,
and Yokozuna's dead.
Can we get Yokozuna? It's like he died like 25 years ago. Yeah. Like, no, you can't.
So they just went and found a sumo dude instead and put him in there.
But I think if I was a fan, I think that taking the Mania out of taking it to Saudi Arabia, I think if they went to the UK or something, that would be fine. But going to Saudi Arabia with Mania, I think some of us got poo-pooed for thinking that would happen early on with this deal. But that is a massive fuck you to the fans, in my opinion. More so than a lot of the other stuff they've done.
It kills me, because if you want a company like this to grow, to me it sure seems like that you want to increase access instead of making it more exclusive.
Paywalling everything, yeah.
Yeah. Increase your access to it. You have how much money from your Netflix deal and your TV deals and stuff like that? You had the WWE Network, which was something that got more and more and more and more people signed up because at a low price point they could hop on and get access to not only old stuff but all of your new stuff as it too. How well did that do? Oh, well, we can't be having that. Let's shut it down. And then whenever they they moved it to Peacock, how many people did they lose? I don't remember the numbers, but if I remember correctly, I think it was a lot.
They're a company now that wants to shake you by the ankles to get every last dime out. And if you want lube, that's extra.
Yeah. The whole not pricing it for families, we're maximizing our ticket price is like Snidely Whiplash cartoon evil, and it prevents you from making new fans.
That was an astounding comment, because the dude basically said, like, yeah, like Vince McMahon, like, he always made sure to like to price families, but we see like great opportunity to like not do that. And it's like, how do you make Vince McMahon, you know, sex pest, sex trafficking, degenerate Vince McMahon, like just a horrible reprehensive human being? How do you make him the sympathetic person?
How do you give him a W?
Maybe we should not like just gouge families and, like you said, like hang them up by their ankles to shake out every last nickel out of their like how badly do you?
They don't understand wrestling.
Look, we don't talk politics on the show. I'm not exactly like a socialist type, but it's like how there is no better way to make people turn on capitalism by just this naked, unfiltered greed that it's like people have 2 pennies in their pockets and that pisses me off. It's like,
it's like, wow. BlackRock saying on an investor call, we want to eliminate home ownership and make it all rental as soon as possible. It's like, you know, I never was on the Eat the Rich bandwagon, but I'm really rethinking it.
Well, and you wonder why people like Luigi Mangione have become like cult heroes. It's like,
it's okay.
Maybe
Shad.
you guys should like have an idea of what's happening, like with people. Like,
it's okay, Shad. You'll get low quality BlackRock housing and like it.
Well, hopefully. My wife and I have had the discussion, and the plan is that the home that we have now is one that would go to one of our kids, because it's just like no.
Oh, yeah. When my parents passed away, like they left me a house in Georgia, and it's dilapidated. Like we honestly need to like just tear it down. But eventually, in the next hopefully the next decade or so, we're gonna like rebuild it. And it's like and there's land on the property, like it's a big lot. Like we could put a small house next to it. And we may do that eventually. Like we don't have money to do it, but I mean eventually in theory, like we would have money. We're gonna have hopefully 2 houses on that. And it's like that's just gonna go to our daughters. Like they can rent it out or do whatever. It's like, but that's like the sad thing. It's like I literally took my parents dying for me to own like land. Yeah. And it's like, this is a dark time in American history. It's like, that's what it takes. And even then it's like, yeah, it's not as if this is going to be like, my children will be millionaires because of this. It's like, no. But maybe they'll have like a piece of land to live on.
Have their own home.
Yes.
I think once the boomers start dying off, actually, interestingly enough, I'd seen housing prices in Florida and Texas are going down because they're actually letting people build new houses. So the prices are going down because they're meeting demand. Unlike other states where it's like, no, like you're not allowed to build, but like where are people supposed to live? Well, fuck you.
The other thing that the reason that the boomer wealth transfer I look at a little sideways is end of life care ain't cheap. And how much of that inheritance that they had imagined passing on to their kids is going to go into that end of life care stuff.
It eats through it pretty quick. Well, and I think the problem is, I think the boomers get unfairly blamed for certain things. And I think what people kind of neglect with some of this stuff is the boomers have kind of like ridden this edge of medical technology, so they've stayed healthier longer and they're going to live longer. Like, I think the statistic is, if you're 70 today, you have something like we're talking gross, but women are slightly better. You have something like a 40% chance of making it to 90.
You have 4% what?
If you're 70 today, you have something like a 40% chance of living to 90. And so if you retire at 65, that is a long ass time to live. Because people are kind of bitching because they're upping the retirement age. It's like, well, it sucks, but the idea when they made the retirement age was a lot of people would be dead within a couple years. They didn't expect people to be drawing on Social Security for 20 years. And at least we don't have it as bad as countries like Japan, where I think that's almost like 1 for 1, or it might even be worse than 1 for 1 in Japan. Like, I think one worker is funding at least one retiree, and I think it's actually worse. It might be like 2.
Yeah, there's not enough young people to support their parents right now, because the population growth hasn't kept up.
Yeah.
Like, Japan's population growth has been negative for a while, and I'm in this place where it's like, the greed has flipped me, because it is so. Here is where I do pick on boomers, because there's, where is a lot of this at is, fuck you, I got mine. Yeah. And I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to get mine. It's like, could you maybe not be, I don't know, a terrible person? Could you do with a little less money? Because what's going to happen with the WWE, like you guys said, they're going to get Toys R Us. And that's, they're going to get Toys R Us. They're going to get raked over the coals for as much money as TKO can get out of them, and then they'll sell the husk to somebody else, because there's still value in the name.
Well, I think the problem too that they have is they don't understand wrestling, and I think it is greed, but I think they have a gross misunderstanding of wrestling. And we talked about this last week, because the pipeline to the UFC is different for their fan base.
Yeah.
And how they do the UFC works, because they can get away with that. And it's a different kind of sport. But the thing with wrestling is you don't come in the same way. Like, you got to get them young. It's like comic books. You got to get them young. You got to get them hooked on it, because if you don't get them hooked by a certain age, like the tropes bother people. You have to get in young, so you overlook the flaws of it.
You accept it as just part of it.
Yeah. It's the same with comics, but like the thing is, so they're pricing families out, so they're not going to get those kids young anymore.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is when they say, it was for families, but we're going to maximize ticket potential. It's like, you're not going to have, especially in this era of wage stagnation and inflation, you're going to price your future fans out of it. They don't care.
Yeah, and because
I'm getting mine now.
The UFC is different, because the UFC, you're going to get into it because the guys at work are talking about it, and you want to talk to them about it. And the UFC works as a lifestyle brand, because, you can be making a moderate wage, and like, oh, they might come to town like once every 2 or 3 years, because, they don't have a bunch of shows. So, $300 for something I might get to do twice in my life's not a big deal. And, they have a pay-per-view like once a month that's $80. Okay, well, I'll save for that, because, like I said, it's a lifestyle brand. It's like the NFL. Like, that is your thing. Wrestling isn't quite like that. Like, as much as people want to think it's like a lifestyle brand, it's not.
Wrestling is it goes in waves. You have peak periods, and then it drops off, because It's hot, and then it drops off, and it becomes lame for a while, and then it gets back to hot. The thing about that, I think, that AEW is good about is where they are specifically looking to hardcore fans. They have a higher floor, and that floor, I think, is probably going to stay decently consistent. Even as people get older and you lose them for whatever reason, but it's going to be different from the other thing, and people are going to like that, and they're going to get into it. And I think that it's going to keep that floor is going to be more consistent than the WWE floor is, especially since it seems to me there's not a whole lot to sink your teeth into with the WWE floor. The bad WWE stuff. God, even Matt sent us the link to there was a spot in that AJ Lee Punk Becky Seth match.
We're doing the Bart Simpson.
Yeah, the windmill slaps spot. I was looking at that and I was like, and I think that was someone pointing out, it's like the Divas era offense does not hold a candle. It was embarrassing.
It honestly looked almost like the equivalent of people who've seen Jeff Hardy do the thumbs up dance and flailing arms. It's like this was like the Jeff Hardy.
It was unironically the Bart Simpson and Lisa thing where it's like, well, I'm gonna swing my arms like this, and if you get in my way, it's your own fault. And then Lisa starts kicking. Yeah. Like I post that clip, it's the exact same thing. But
but it was embarrassing. But they let that stuff go. You go to AEW and somebody shits the bed like that on TV, you're not going to see him for a while.
Yeah. Speaking of something that wasn't botched, who was that idiot that acted like Penta botched like a destroyer off the top rope when the move was like perfectly fine?
Oh, don't bring his name up, because this little douche nozzle is someone who posts stuff and pays for a check mark, but turns off comments on all of his posts, because I'm convinced he just got his ass absolutely cooked for it. And instead of being like, okay, what am I doing? He's like, no, I turn the comments off. That way no one can doubt my opinion.
It was so stupid though, because I was looking at it, I was like, well, Waller kind of sold it shitty, but Waller sucks. But it's like the move was perfectly fine. Like you can tell when something goes wrong, and you know how you can tell it's fine is because the ref went in for the count, and then Penta posed and pinned him.
Yeah, nothing weird happened after it. Nothing was like, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
Nothing stopped. Penta didn't go to the other side of the ring and do look at me, crowd, look at me, while the ref's talking to the dude on it. It was just a destroyer.
It literally was. It was a destroyer, and Penta's like, yeah, I just fucked you up, and then pinned him. And it's like, yeah, that's not what happens with injuries. Like, the ref didn't do an X, the ref didn't check on him, the ref just counted. Waller sold it a little weird, but like I said, Waller sucks, so.
It went over fine.
Yeah.
It was a fine,
I just don't understand these accounts. It's like, I know I've seen a lot of wrestling in my day, but it's like, it's even high def. Someone, I feel like I could sit down with someone that doesn't even know wrestling. I said, does it look like they messed this up? And they would say no. But whatever. So the other thing that happened today, which Matt's been raging about all day because it sucks. So the Mandalorian movie first trailer came out. And I have to say, they might fix it up for the movie, which I doubt. But that opening scene is so bad. Like, you can tell it's like green screen to crap and back.
People have commented that in a 2-minute plus trailer, there's almost no dialogue. It's shown the trailer.
They haven't written the script yet.
Well, they may have written the script. This isn't Avengers Doomsday. That, as an aside, I know we're talking about Star Wars now, but that seems like a complete shit show, because
the guy that
there are
plays
people who actually are on the film. It's I haven't seen a script, and they Alan. Who's that?
The guy that plays Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Alan Cummings.
He was like, he's like, yeah, I shot stuff. I don't even know like what I was doing. Like I don't know who I was talking
they
to.
must have had a talk. They've had a talking to with him because he was like, "Oh yeah, no, like we did have a script." It's like, did you? Did you really? Like,
no, I literally think they do is they don't know, so he has to do that scene like 20 times and be like, yes, Thor, and then like, okay, let's reshoot it. Yes, Iron Man. Okay, let's shoot it again. Yes, Deadpool. Like,
even if you're gonna do like close to the vest, you can't just like, well, this is your scene. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but this is your scene. Like, I don't know. Anyway,
I saw that same interview and I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be bad.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian trailer to me was terrible.
I thought so too.
I have a lot of thoughts on Star Wars in general.
I was bored a minute in with the trailer, and that's a bad sign.
We were talking about this earlier. It's like Star Wars, unfortunately, to me, it is the just biggest example of just jangling keys. It's at this point, it's
that's all they've got.
Well, you've heard the old expression. It's like turtles all the way down. It's like, it's just member berries all the way down. It's like, remember this? But now this is the problem with like Mandalorian. I saw somebody like defending it. It's like, what are you guys complaining about it? Like, look, Mandalorian got his ship back. Mandalorian got his rifle back. And some people were commenting, it's like, oh, so you're telling me that, all the things that maybe have happened to him in the show, like he lost these things in the show. It's like, well, that doesn't matter because you're immediately giving them back to them. It's like, that actually is a clever point in the sense that it's like, yeah, nothing is permanent because you made a big point. It's like, oh, it's a big narrative plot where he loses his ship, but it's like, oh, here you go, you blink and it's back again. So what did that matter? Like, yeah, that's true. But point is like, you're also like, oh, look, he's getting this thing. It's like, Mandalorian as a show, has it existed more than like what? 5 years, 6 years?
It came out right before
like,
COVID, I think, didn't it? It came out in like 2019, I think.
Then that's like 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, so you're telling me that I should have nostalgia about shit that happened in the last like 5 years? 5 years. You're not like, oh, remember this nostalgia from like this 80s show that you remember? It's like, well, that at least is like, 30 to 40 years ago.
Kid. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe 30, 40 years ago. It's like, so what, 5 years ago? That's a really narrow window.
Yeah, and it's like I don't remember. So like, oh, it's like, oh, that looks familiar. Like, oh, it's a ship. Okay, like, well, I don't remember the show that well, so okay, whatever.
It just looked terrible to me.
That opening scene looked absolutely terrible because like you could see you could see the bad CGI. You could see like the artifacting and stuff like that. Like with it, it was really bad.
I think I probably talked on the show. Like I had issues with Mandalorian ever since probably season 2.
That's because they started tying it back into Star Wars, and like he got main character syndrome, where like instead of just being like some guy doing bounty stuff, he had to do all this important shit.
My take on it is that for those who've seen it, the first season is different than other Star Wars stuff. And it's basically Jon Favreau just doing a retelling of the at this point like decades old school Lone Wolf and Cub manga series, which is about the original one. It's about a Ronin, a masterless samurai, and his young son, like infant son, as he is traveling through Japan, like the adventures they have. It is basically that, like you have the Mandalorian. What's his name, like Djarin or something like that, Pedro Pascal, and he comes upon Baby Yoda, who's not Baby Yoda, but it should be Baby Yoda. Anyway, gets Baby Yoda, like they bond, like, so it's almost like a father and son thing, and it's very different. It's like it's kind of gritty, it takes you outside of that, and then immediately it's like that first season was successful, and it's almost like you could see like vultures, like the management Disney and everything like swoop in. It's like successful. We must monetize this.
This
and
is
then,
successful. We gotta get a hold of this.
Oh yeah, like because at that point, by the time like Mandalorian came around, Star Wars was failing because like the sequel series was a bust. Started to become a bust. Even though it made like millions upon millions of dollars, like hundreds of millions of dollars each film, hundreds of millions at the box office, was not well received. Han Solo, I think actually did like 400, 500 million at the box office, but comparatively, like that was like, oh, you're a failure.
Well, they,
because you didn't make like $1 billion plus.
well, the problem with Kathleen Kennedy though is she's such a terrible manager. All of their movies go horribly over budget. So like even something like Rise of Skywalker, there is theories that actually lost money because it cost so much, because of how much of a disaster it was.
Point is, like Star Wars was like almost like, it's sick, ailing, dying, and then Mandalorian season 1 came around and was successful. Then they just threw all their eggs in that basket, and the problem is like they then tried to bootstrap it. So season 2, because this is like, it's Mandalorian. It's essentially a prequel, not prequel in the sense of like the prequels from like the 2000s or like the late 90s, early 2000s. Prequel in the sense that it's supposed to be before Star Wars proper. Season 2, it's like now they started doing all this like Jedi shit, and it's like as soon as like the Jedi shit came on, they're bootstrapping like in Ahsoka series. As soon as they did that shit, I'm like, nah, it's like I'm out the shit. I don't want this. Like, because that's the thing.
You mean
Star Wars?
Dave Filoni's waifu, Ahsoka?
Yeah. The thing that bothers me that will always bother.
Oh my god, Chad, your reaction was priceless.
I watched seasons 1 and 2 of Mandalorian, and then when we got Ahsoka, the stealth pilot in the Mandalorian, I hated that episode. I hated it. Why? I don't give a shit about this character. I have never given a shit about this character. I'm interested in seeing what Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, does. And they're like, oh, we're going to give him a stick, man, the same stuff as his armor. Isn't that cool? But most of the episode's going to be about my most favorite character that I made doing the cool stuff so she can have her own show. And I'm like,
look, I'll spoil this because it's been around for like years at this point. But the last episode of season 2 of Mandalorian, like people before it aired, people were like, I saw people like go, oh, it's so great, oh my god, the finale, and I'm like, there's a lot of hype. There's no way it's gonna live up to the hype. What is it all about? And I remember even talking to a friend of the show, Damien Gonzalez. He liked it a lot. I'm like, what is this? And I watched it, and literally when I watched it, I sent him like angry texts. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You like this? Like, this actually pisses me off. What was the final episode? Oh, like, well, there's the whole plot, whatever, like that. But Mandalorian and everything, like, who saves the day? Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker.
Nothing in Star Wars
he does Jedi
happens.
shit and like stops the bad guys and everything. And it's like, this fucking pisses me off. Because the thing I liked about Mandalorian season 1, it's like, oh, it's different. Because look, Star Wars is supposed to be this big giant world, right? A universe, or at least a galaxy of stuff. You could tell a million different stories in season 1, and it's like, all right, let's tell a real story. Like, it's Lone Wolf and Cub. It's like, essentially like a masterless samurai. He's like dealing on the seedy side of things, whatever, like that. And then season 2, it's like Suzuki Papa's. No, it's got to be all Jedi all the time now. It's like, I'm so fucking tired of that's just Star Wars now. Star Wars, it's like Jedi.
Yeah.
No, everything has to be space wizards.
Why does everything
wizards.
have to...
That's Star Wars. It's like, I'm so fucking tired.
Everything that matters in the Star Wars universe has to revolve around the fucking Skywalkers.
And Tatooine.
Yeah, well, yeah, Jedi in general, but yes, Skywalker specifically. And it's like,
why can't we just leave it alone and do something else?
And it has to be on Tatooine because they gotta save money on those sets.
God.
That's like when they did the Obi-Wan.
I hate it.
That's like when they did the Obi-Wan show. It's like, I was just like, who wants to see this? Like, are we gonna do a do a whole episode where like Obi-Wan's got to, dig a poo hole for himself because he's...
Yeah, what are you going to do on Tatooine? The whole point was he went there and laid low.
And then he had to, face off with Darth Vader, which, breaks continuity.
Which
but
was not... That was the point. It wasn't supposed to happen.
and
That's
people
why it
are
was
like,
there.
oh my God, they're facing off. Like, you knew they were going to fucking do this the second they announced it.
Yeah, you know what? It happened in the first movie.
Yeah. And then
That's why it had weight, is because it happens in the first movie, and they hadn't seen each other in how long?
or you get this, and like even stuff like Ahsoka, which was a terrible show. But even that show, it's like even the lightsaber fights were bad because everyone had to hold back because Rosario Dawson was old and couldn't keep up.
It's
So then
I'm
the fights look like
convinced-
shit because like this martial artist was holding back and then Hayden Christensen was holding back.
Look, there's enough. I'm convinced that there's enough case that people don't understand what lightsaber battles are supposed to be. Lightsaber battles are supposed to be the manifestation of the emotional conflict between the two characters. That's what it's supposed to be.
They kind of lost that by the prequels, honestly, because
And they lost that in the prequels. You know why? Let's do all this stuff. I was like, dude, what the hell are we doing here?
That was,
Like-
by the way, for Ahsoka, like that was one of the things that like made me almost rage bait. Like they should have clipped from that, and it clearly was green screen, but it's like the actors going like this, literally just like standing in place, like moving their arms like this, and they green screened like they had lightsabers, and it's like as they twirl their arms, it's like laser bolt. Oh, I'm deflecting it with my lightsaber.
well, no, but you could tell when
it's
they
like,
would do the.
This is like that. This is like not only is this shitty special effects, it's the laziest of shitty special
Give
effects.
them damn
like-
sticks.
no,
Wow.
no,
So they're
but
actually holding something.
but even when they choreography the fights, like they would have to hold back because the other person couldn't keep up with them. So like Hayden Christensen's actually doing stuff, but it's like, oh, like this looks like shit because you're like it's obvious you're dumbing it down for the other actor.
Just give them a stick to hold, so they're actually holding something.
But they lost that by the
J-
prequels. Like I think
Yeah,
the
no,
original movies, like the heavy, like the weight of the lightsaber fights and stuff, was way better than the like ninja shit they were doing with the prequels.
Yeah,
and
well,
forward.
they had Darth Maul, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then Darth Maul just throws down with two Jedi, and it's impressive choreography, but it's like, why?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? And then we go to the second movie, and what happens is Yoda has a lightsaber. Yoda, the Jedi Master, the guy who frankly is so good with the Force that he shouldn't need one. And then they had good old, oh God, Christopher
Lee.
uttered the phrase on film. This battle may only be decided by skill with the lightsaber. And I'm like, first of all, what is that read? Second of all, you just had Christopher Lee, World War II veteran Christopher Lee, who killed people with a knife, say that out loud?
Well,
The prequels are a handbook on what not to do.
you know what the outtake was on that was probably like, oh my God.
Now
this
our
is
skill can only be determined with.
It's like, what the fuck is this? How many zeros are on that paycheck? Like, fine.
Just to imagine Christopher Lee puts his hand in his robe and comes out flipping the bird at the camera.
It's like, what's
I
my
would have fallen out of my seat laughing.
like? What's my percentage on the toys? Okay, fine. I'll read it.
It's like I don't care.
Peter
I'm not
Jackson
gonna be
doesn't
around that
make
much
me
longer.
do this. I just actually saw him in an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Don't.
I know it's.
I'm just.
Oh, that movie is
I'm
so
so
bad.
damn mad now that I can't.
You know what's remarkable about the prequels is how terrible Natalie Portman it was in them because like, and I think she's a good actress, but like obviously like putting her in front of green screen does not like bring out the best in her talents.
She was clearly going through the motions at some point.
Yeah, because she didn't
Anakin,
have anything to hang
Anakin,
on
no,
to.
you're breaking my heart. It's like, you're better than this, Natalie. Come on.
I'll tell you,
I can tell you the exact scene when I looked at it and went, well, okay, we're done. It's in the first movie. And when Natalie Portman, as Queen Amidala, has to go to the king of Jar Jar's people who live on it, and she goes, I'm asking you. I am begging you. Please help us. And I'm like, they gave her no direction and she does not want to be there.
no.
Holy crap.
And single men, I'll tell you what, it works every time. If you wanna bag a lady, just go up to them and say, "I hate sand."
Of course. Good son ever.
It's not
You know,
soft
okay,
like
there
you.
was a way to actually save that line. Is if he had done that and then Natalie Portman looks at him and goes, what? And he goes, I don't know. I was trying to come up with something I thought you would like. That could have saved that line. Like, that would have sounded like the guy's trying to be suave, and she's like, what the hell are you doing? He goes,
I'm sorry, I had a stroke.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I was trying to come up with something I thought you'd like, and that's all that came to mind. And then they laugh, and it's a bonding moment. I just fixed that whole scene. God.
Sorry, I use that. I still use that joke in like normal conversations with people because it still pisses like people off 20 years later.
Oh, I have used someone says I don't like that. I said, I don't either. It's coarse and irritating. And then I get the,
Yeah. You know what the best part of the prequels is like when Samuel L. Jackson gets killed, he just looks at him like, I told you motherfuckers not to trust this guy.
well, no, he doesn't get off. He doesn't get a pass either. Because he could have just been like, just go ahead and stab him. Just finish it. By the way, Palpatine, you moron, what are you doing? He's like, it hurts. Just quit throwing the lightning and he'll quit bouncing it back into your face. Moron.
Don't, Anakin, I have the high ground. You know what's terrible is they somehow
Can we be done before I have a stroke?
You know what's terrible is they one up that with somehow the Emperor returned in the new movies. That
was in what was that called? There was the Dark Horse comic series.
Oh, the one where Luke is it the stupid one where Luke like goes to the dark side? Goes to the dark side because he thinks he's gonna go undercover and subvert it, but it turns out it doesn't work. That comic sucks. I know it was like the first comic, but I hate that comic. But oh well, we can blame Kevin J. Anderson too because the Palpatine comes back was also in fucking Darksaber because it was the Force artifact that could transfer your soul. Just. I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I'm done for the week. I'm out. We're gonna end on a happy note. I'm pulling the lever. I'm done. Because it was the thumbnail for the show. We got a little waylaid with other things, but Monster Cereal is back. Yes, it is. I don't know if I dig the Muppet look this year with them. I like it.
So yeah, they do this at least. In my area, it's not 24/7. No, they only bring out the monster cereals like for Halloween. Mm-hmm. So you get them like September. That's a whole other thing. Like nowadays, my wife and I constantly lament that in a lot of places, like grocery stores sometimes, but for sure like places like Target, maybe Walmart, it's like when's a holiday, like a big holiday? It's like, oh, it's this date. It's like, okay, expect to see that shit like 3 months ahead of time. But it's also insane too, because like in our, it's like right now, total Halloween stuff. It's mid-September. I guess it's late September, but it's been around for a while. It's
I
been
mean,
around at least like 3 weeks.
I have my Halloween shit in front of the house, like, and it's been up for a week. So I mean,
We haven't put our stuff up. I don't know if we're gonna decorate, but the point is, like, in our neighborhood, like for Target, at Target, for Halloween stuff or like Christmas stuff, it's like if you want some really good shit, like decorations or trinkets or whatever like that, it's like September 23rd. You should have already bought that because they're now gonna start, like, it's gonna be like gone. It's like, well, it's over a month before like the actual holiday. It's like, doesn't matter. Like, all that shit's going to be like sold out or gone, or like they're going to start removing it. And it's like, you want to push this holiday as soon as possible to sell your stuff, but then you're also going to run out of shit or like to start taking shit away like a month ahead of time. It's insane. Like we just bought like a costume for our youngest daughter because it's like, well, let's snatch this up right now because it actually is in stock here in the store.
Yeah. Here's an example. This past Christmas, my wife and I are like, oh, there's something that we could get for my mom. They have it at Cracker Barrel. I went in there on December 22nd to get it, and they were taking it down and putting up Valentine's stuff. And I was like, where's the stuff that you had, the Christmas stuff? Oh, we already shipped it out. And I was like, y'all deserve to lose the guy off the logo. Like, you earned that.
I'm surprised they didn't put it up on clearance. Like, that's really weird.
Yeah, it's just not there. And like, my wife, I told my wife I don't like it to see Christmas stuff like before Halloween's gone. And she goes, well, it's like the beginning of August, Halloween stuff's out. And I'm like, I don't like that either.
Chad. Again, we went to Target this past Sunday. There's Halloween stuff up everywhere. There was one small section, one small aisle. They already have Christmas lights up. So you can buy Christmas lights. It's the 23rd. This was the 21st. September 21st. You can already buy Christmas lights. It wasn't like, here's a bunch of like a whole big aisle, whatever. But it's a section that's like, if you need like electric Christmas lights, here's this aisle. And it's like,
over this late stage capitalism bullshit. Let's just
it's
burn it
like,
down.
Guys, I'm literally trying to buy like candy.
Yeah,
like
I need
Halloween
a werewolf
candy.
mask.
Yes. Look, but we're digressing. Point is, like, in my area, they don't, and maybe everywhere in America, they don't. They don't sell. They don't sell like the General Mills Monster cereals year round. They just sell it.
No, it used to
like
be
a couple months around like Halloween.
I think some places they might do Count Chocula all year. I know Count Chocula you could get like all year round for a long time, but not.
You might be able to run that a little longer.
So they had that at my grocery store, and I bought a Count Chocula, and I don't usually get Count Chocula. Like, I usually get either Blueberry or Frankenberry.
I only get Blueberry. Count Chocula.
Blueberry's the blueberry one.
Yeah.
Frankenberry. I haven't had Count Chocula like in years, so I bought it.
Blueberry actually has
strawberry.
Blueberry actually has like a very strong fan base. I don't think he's the most popular, but like he has the most passionate of.
It's a cereal that's supposed to taste like blueberry that actually tastes like blueberry.
Yeah, he's a very rare, and he's a rarity. And then like, Fruit Brute kind of has a cult following, but
it's just because it's rare.
Yeah,
it's Fruit Brute is werewolf. I don't know that I've ever had Fruit Brute. I
always thought Yummy Mummy was just a rebranding of Fruit Brute, but I guess I've heard they're different, or they changed it for like, because some years they do have Yummy Mummy.
I think they're similar though. I feel like I've had Yummy Mummy though.
There's a
new. You almost never see them. There's Carmella. Yeah. Carmella. She's like looks like a zombie. I think canonically, like she's supposed to be like the daughter of Count Chocula or something like that. I don't know. That's like green apple.
That's
flavor.
like she's like within the last couple years. She's like brand.
Yeah. No, she's new. And I've had that, and it's like I don't think it's that good. It is very like green apple.
There's Frankenberry.
if you go into the grocery store and you actually get a real green apple, like a Granny Smith, like it's delicious and tart. This is not green apple like that. This is like,
Jolly Rancher green apple.
The extremely like processed, like high fructose corn syrup flavored version of what they perceive to be a green apple. It's not that good. I would stick with like Count Chocolate, Frankenberry, Boo Berry. But they have new packaging. They did new packaging this year, and it is extremely Muppet version of every character, to the point where it literally says Jim Henson's Frankenberry, whatever like that. And it's like, does he really? I don't think Jim Henson owns this. I thought General Mills.
I think it's a collab.
So maybe they just.
It's probably
it's a collab. Maybe they just did like, here's a Muppet version of what they would look like. And
I'm fine with that.
I actually think they look cute. They look Frankenberry especially looks like cute as a Muppet. Like they look kind of cute.
For me, I just don't. The characters just don't work in that style for me. I feel like the art style for them isn't compatible. But like, I'm imagining it's a collab just to kind of spike sales for a year, because it looks like they only did the core 3 this year instead of like other years where like you get the other guys.
They're also, the Muppet Show is actually coming back next year too.
As like a series, or
the classic format Muppet Show with the variety show stuff. I need to go find
what platform.
Didn't they screw that up the last time they did it?
They did, but that's because they weren't doing the classic Muppet Show.
Oh.
What they were doing was, it was a show about making the Muppet Show, so it was all backstage stuff.
That was not that well. It could have been like a decade ago at this point, but it was.
It was 2016, I think, for the show, because
but wasn't it that they did a Muppet movie?
Yeah, they did. They did one with the guy from.
Was it Jason?
Yeah.
Was it Jason Sudeikis? Okay, and that was like a big success.
It was Jason Segel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Segel.
And it was about them reviving the Muppet Show, and then I think they did a sequel movie that was shit.
It was good, and they did a sequel that didn't really go. But the Muppet, it was called The Muppet Movie, and it was good. Jason Segel wrote it because he loved the Muppets and wanted it to be good.
Like
so it was.
They even do like the old intro and stuff too. Like it's a good movie.
If I recall correctly, like the movie came out and it was successful, and then there was like this wave of nostalgia, and I think it was on the ABC. Like they rushed. It's like, oh, we need to do a Muppet series, and they did a Muppet series, and it got a lot of hype, and then it wasn't successful.
No.
Yeah. The only thing that's notable about that is, remember, like if you recall, like they had it where Kermit was like not dating Miss Piggy, he was dating some new pig.
Yeah.
I think her name was like Bernice or something like that. I don't know. Like I forget what the name was, but all I know is like that particular year when they did that, my wife and I dressed up. I was Kermit, so I had like a Kermit like costume, and my wife was like the new pig, and she just got like this like, because it was like a red-headed pig, like she got like a red wig, and she just had like the big like pink nose, and so that was like her costume that year. It was like a themed costume, and people got it but
I wish they did.
It wasn't a successful show.
No, I wish they would acknowledge the '90s show though. It bothers me that they always skip that and just keep it to the original show.
Since we are talking briefly about the Muppets, we have to mention again on the show 2 things. One, A Muppet Christmas Carol with Michael Caine acting the shit out of that. Which again, like the most hilarious thing is that Michael Caine basically decided like, I'm going to do a serious rendition of Christmas Carol.
There's a quote where they said like someone on set told him like, oh, well, they're just Muppets, have fun with it. And he's like, I'm going to play this as serious as a heart attack.
Yes. And it works because of that. So that's number one. The second thing is Muppet Treasure Island with
Tim Curry.
With Tim Curry just
as a human Muppet.
Yeah.
There is no like, you literally if you go somewhere, drive into the country. I don't care how far you have to go. Drive into the country. Drive any place that it's just trees and fields. It is just a picturesque, maybe mountains in the background, a picturesque view of just nature, just a beautiful view. And then I want you to get down on your knees eating it. like starts chomping on the dirt, and you doing that, I need you to realize you will never, if you ate every single thing of nature that you see, you will never in a million years eat as much scenery as Tim Curry did in Treasure Island. Performance of a lifetime.
My favorite line from that is like, my favorite line is like, oh my God, like, Dead Tom's dead. Long John killed him. He's like, but Dead Tom's always been dead. That's why we call him Dead Tom.
We're sitting in a room with a dead guy. Or Tim Curry going, upstage, lads. This is my only number. It's just marvelous.
Or when the pigs are like, we're gonna fuck you up, and he shoots the headdresser like, oh, we see you have boomsticks, and they just run away.
Bye.
He's been in poor health. Like, although I think he's stabilized, but I mean, when Tim Curry like shuffles off the mortal coil, I will legit be sad. Like, what a tremendous talent. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, we've talked about this before on the show. Name a bad Tim Curry performance. You can't. Everything he's done has been entertaining in some way.
No, I
have one?
Okay, so they re-released the Bram Stoker's Dracula at some point in the last decade with different readers reading each part, and he did the Van Helsing parts. And it must have been like close to when he started having his health problems, because he just is sucking wind the whole time. And like, it's an okay performance, but you can tell he's just really struggling. And like, you can cause you can hear him like, cause for someone that is an actor, you can hear him like breathing and like gulping and stuff. And it really takes away from it. So I was disappointed with it. And he doesn't have like, the Van Helsing parts of the original Dracula novel aren't like long, but he was a disappointment. But I mean,
so
like contextually,
number one, he's in Clue, which is one of my all-time top 5 movies. Number 2, he was King Arthur in the first Broadway run of Spamalot. Number 3, stop eating my sesame cake.
Sesame cake.
Number 4. I will go to the one place that has not been corrupted by capitalism. Space.
He has the only funny...
And then Muppet Treasure Island.
He has the only funny part of Scary Movie 2, and it's a deleted scene. Because he's like this perverted doctor, like, Doctor, you see, he's like, what is it? Titties?
Okay, I gotta look that one up just for Tim Curry's delivery.
Yeah, and you could guess what the expression on his face was, but he had a lot of good like acting roles, like Hook and Peter Pan and the Pirates. He had like, he's in stuff you don't even like think of. The guy like, and I think it speaks to his talent that he did not get typecast for like Frankenfurter.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people would not bounce back from that.
Like I said, man, the just Clue by itself would have won me over, but Tim Curry just being wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I think that is it for this week. I don't know what we're going to do next week. Like I said, we've all been going through a lot. It's been a crazy summer for us, but maybe something crazy in the wrestling world will happen. Because we had a, I think this is like the first week we had like something to really dig our teeth into with like current wrestling. Because it was kind of boring for like 2 months.
It's not that it was boring. It's just not, there wasn't a whole lot to discuss with it. It's like,
yeah,
All In was really good. Okay, what else do we do with that? Much.
Yeah. But that is it for this week. Thank you for joining us as always. We've been in 3 corners. You've been in the 4th, and we will